Chapter 1196. You are Diwushuan? A guy who just reached Dao integration is so arrogant, and dared to behave atrociously in the Heavenly Union's Thunder City. Ning Cheng sized up Diwushuan and spoke with some disappointment. It could be said that besides the 9 sky-suppressing pagoda, Diwushuan was practically useless. Die for me. Diwushuan seemed to be angered to the extreme. The 5 elements thunder umbrella erupted with the power of 5 different attributes. However, this time it was not the lightning that shot out, but the 5 elements space. At the same time that he brought out the 5 yuan space, a talisman had already appeared in his hand. He believed that his 5 essence space would be able to stop Ningcheng for 1 to 2 breaths. Ningcheng gave a cold snort. Go Wanqing escaped from my hands, and you want to leave too? At this moment, the cold void light spear rolled up 1,000 feet of ice light. Endless Taoist rhymes blasted out, completely freezing the space on the 9th floor of the 9-path sky-suppressing pagoda. He had come here for the breath soil. Even if he had to go all out, he would not let Diwushuan escape. When Ningcheng's traceless spear line swept past Diwushuan's escape talisman, it immediately slowed down. Immediately after, Ningcheng's icebound space appeared, and the escape talisman's light exploded onto the icebound space. Whether it was the quality of the escape talisman or the strength, Diwushuan could not compare to Go Wanqing. Go Wanqing could tear through Ning City's icebound spatial space and escape, but Diwushuan could not tear through Ning City's icebound spatial space in a short time. Catcha, with a cracking sound, Diwushuan's escape talisman blasted open a crack in Ningcheng's icebound spatial. Diwushuan wholeheartedly wanted to escape, and did not care about Ningcheng behind him. Instead, he raised his hand and tore at the cracks in the ice-sealed spatial. The icebound space was finally torn apart by Diwushuan. At the same time, Isa had already rushed over. A cyan radiance with Dao charm flowing around it shot out. Diwushuan's figure instantly slowed down. The green radiance pierced through Diwushuan's chest, and the circulation of Dao runes on his body also loosened significantly. Diwushuan didn't have time to care about his injuries. He knew that if he couldn't escape from the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda today, he would definitely die. The escape talisman shone brightly again, and a space was set up in the air by him. Diwushuan heaved a sigh of relief. The escape talisman had finally been activated. Now he just had to wait to leave. However, Diwushuan quickly sensed that something was amiss. He was not teleported away as he had imagined. A spatial force more powerful than his escape talisman blocked his escape talisman. Diwushuan felt that this was the power of Ningcheng's laws of space. The giant hand condensed from Ningcheng's Dao charm tore through the space formed by the escape talisman, and directly grabbed Diwushuan's neck. Not far away, Isa, who had just injured Diwushuan and was holding on to Xu Rui, looked at Ningcheng in shock. Ningcheng, who was at the early stage primordial chaos realm, had condensed a Dao rune handprint to grab the neck of Diwushuan, who was at the early stage Dao integration realm. It was like picking up a little chick. Isa estimated that he would never forget this shocking scene for the rest of his life. Senior, this junior has no enmity with you. Why did you attack me? Diwushuan, who had been grabbed by Ningcheng, asked in despair. Ningcheng spoke up in a light voice. Scum like you. I will kill you every time I see you. Tell me, where is the breathing soil? Diwushuan suddenly let out a scream. If you want the breathing soil, then ask for the breathing soil. Don't find any noble excuses. If this emperor dies, then I die. If you want this emperor to tell me where the breathing soil is. Ningcheng's Dao charm tightened, and Diwushuan suddenly screamed in pain. The Dao charm in his meridians shattered inch by inch, and his Zifu also shattered at the same time. Let me go. I will tell you the breathing soil. Diwushuan felt a sense of sadness in his heart. How many hardships had he gone through to succeed in Dao unification? If he had another half a day, no, as long as he had an hour, he could have refined the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda. At that time, wouldn't he be able to go anywhere he wanted in the vast universe? He was unwilling, truly unwilling. But just when he was about to succeed, he failed. Brother Ning, give him to me. If I don't torture him to tell me where the breathing soil is, I will forever. Isa, whose eyes had turned red, gnashed his teeth with sadness and murderous intent. Before he could finish, Ningqing interrupted him. No need. I already know where the breathing soil is. I'll leave this person to you. After Ningqing finished, he threw Di Wuxuan to Isa and flew to the top of the 9-Dao Space Suppression Pagoda's 9th floor and grabbed a gray wooden box. The moment he crushed Isa's Zifu meridians and destroyed Isa's corporeal body and essence spirit cultivation, he sensed the location of the breathing soil. Ningqing immediately opened the wooden box and grabbed a fist-sized piece of soil from it. The soil was gray and exuded a primal chaos Dao charm aura. It felt as if it contained the essence of the entire world. The small piece of soil in his hand felt as heavy as a planet. It really is the breathing soil. Unfortunately, it's too small. Ningqing sighed. Whether it was fusing with the mysterious yellow bead, or repairing the grand essence realm, he needed the breathing soil. However, this bit of breathing soil was clearly not enough. Ningqing decided to use this piece of breathing soil to fuse with the mysterious yellow bead and produce the 5 elements spirit water first. The main reason was that he hadn't collected all 5 earths yet. It would be a waste to keep the breathing soil. Secondly, once he fused with the mysterious yellow bead and obtained the 5 elements spirit water, he would be able to refine the good fortune spirit spear. As long as he could refine the good fortune spirit spear, his strength would definitely improve by leaps and bounds. Once his strength improved by leaps and bounds, he could go to the mysterious yellow heavens beyond to look for the breathing soil. Not only would his chances increase, but his own safety would also be guaranteed. Brother Ning, I'm afraid that Xu Rui won't make it. I'll take her back to the Heavenly Union Star, and then follow Brother Ning to look for the breathing soil for Brother Ning. Isa stepped on Di Wuxuan and spoke with a sad voice. Ningqing put away Di Wuxuan's 5 elements thunder umbrella and smiled. Sister-in-law can still be saved. You should deal with Di Wuxuan first. What? Xu Rui can still be saved? Isa trembled with excitement. Without thinking about it, he directly burned Di Wuxuan to ashes. He grabbed Di Wuxuan's ring and brought it to Ningqing before bowing and pleading, Brother Ning, please save her. Originally, he wanted to take Di Wuxuan back and slowly torture him. But when he heard that Xu Rui could still be saved, he didn't have the leisure to torture Di Wuxuan. Saving his Dao companion was the most important thing right now. With Ningqing's strength, he didn't doubt Ningqing's words at all. Ningqing didn't take the ring that Isa handed to him. You can put away this ring. I guess that you can't take this pagoda away even if I give it to you. So, I'll take it with me. Isa didn't refuse. He knew that there was no need to refuse a ring from a powerhouse like Ningqing. Moreover, Ningqing gave him this ring for another reason. Xu Rui's things were stored in the ring. Seeing Isa put away the ring, Ningqing took out a jade bottle and handed it to Isa. This is a drop of essence of the universe. It can save sister-in-law. Essence of the universe. Isa looked at Ningqing in shock. Did you climb to the 18th floor of the Heavenly Union Dao Pagoda? Ningqing smiled and stuffed the jade bottle into Isa's hands. Yes, I did climb to the 18th floor of the Heavenly Union Dao Pagoda. However, I didn't get much of this essence. Isa grabbed the jade bottle with excitement and bowed to Ningqing again. Brother Ning, I swear on my Dao that I will not reveal this matter. If Brother Ning asks for anything in the future, Isa will never refuse. Ningqing waved his hand. It's nothing. Brother E, hurry up and save her. Both Ningqing and Isa knew how precious the essence of the universe was. Therefore, Ningqing felt that Isa's attitude was worth it. Regardless of whether he needed Isa's help or not, Isa's gratitude suited his temperament. What he hated the most were those who didn't repay kindness, or those who repaid kindness with enmity. As for the leak of the essence of the universe, Ningqing knew that if the breath soil really appeared, the essence of the universe would definitely leak out. In order to exchange for the breath soil, he didn't hesitate to use the essence of the universe. Isa dropped a drop of essence of the universe into Xu Rui's mouth. Xu Rui's vitality recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, her body and essence spirit instantly condensed. Isa watched from the side with tears in his eyes. This was what he wanted to see even in his dreams. Ningqing also marveled at the power of the essence of the universe. Just a drop of it could restore a person who had lost her essence blood, and even her soul. The only thing that hadn't fully recovered was her cultivation. With Esau's wealth, it was only a matter of time before Xu Rui recovered her cultivation. Brother Sa, did we all die? Xu Yu opened her eyes. When she saw Esau in front of her, her eyes suddenly turned red. She was a primordial essence holy emperor. Even before she finished her sentence, Ningqing knew that she hadn't died. Esau quickly said, "We're all fine. Brother Ning saved us." Esau explained in the most concise way that Ningqing had helped them. Xu Rui quickly stood up and walked to Ningqing with a bow to thank him. Ningqing smiled and said, "Brother Yi, you and sister-in-law should leave the 9 Daos space suppression pagoda first. I want to take this pagoda away." Something like the 9 Daos space suppression pagoda couldn't be taken away without refining it. However, Ningqing had a way. His mysterious yellow bead had a much higher grade than the 9 Daos space suppression pagoda. Even if he hadn't refined the 9 Daos space suppression pagoda, he could still take it away. Among the 3 people outside the 9 Daos space suppression pagoda, Deacon Li was the most nervous. The old man was the most relaxed. Don't look at him calling Ningqing senior. He wouldn't feel sad even if Ningqing died. Seeing Li Kuanghe's nervousness, the old man patted Li Kuanghe's arm and said, "I have faith in Senior Ning's strength. Nothing will happen to him. You don't have to worry." The old man comforted Li Kuanghe with his mouth, but in his heart, he felt annoyed that he was too short and couldn't reach Li Kuanghe's shoulder. Suddenly, he felt shocked by the scene in front of him. He couldn't even continue speaking. The 9 Dao charms disappeared again. No, they turned into Dao charms and surrounded the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda. Zhang Tai also saw this change and spoke up in surprise. The old fogey reacted and clapped his hands. "I knew that Senior Ning would be fine. In this case, that Di Wuxuan must have been killed." Li Kuanghe was just about to ask when he saw 2 figures rushing out of the pagoda. "City Master, Junior Apprentice Sister Xu Rui, are you all right?" Li Kuanghe came forward in surprise. Esau patted Li Kuanghe's shoulder excitedly and said, "Thank you for all these years, Kuanghe. Brother Ning's spirit power is boundless and saved me and sister-in-law." Xu Rui's face turned red with excitement. She found that she hadn't just been saved. She originally had an terminated meridian body, but after taking the true essence of the universe, meridians started to appear in her body. Because of her terminated meridian body, even if she had first-class qualifications, she could only advance to the pseudo-primordial chaos realm with endless treasures. Now that meridians appeared in her body, it meant that her future achievements would be immeasurable. "Xu Rui, what's wrong with you?" Esau immediately noticed Xu Rui's abnormality. Xu Rui was just about to speak when a roar suddenly arrived. Everyone looked at the position of the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda in shock. The 9 Dao space suppression pagoda, which stood in place, suddenly started to shake. The roar came from the Dao charms caused by the shaking of the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda. "What's going on?" Zhang Tai had just said those words when she saw the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda suddenly rise into the air and disappear without a trace. At the place where the 9 Dao space suppression pagodas originally stood, Ningqing took a step into the void. Chapter 1197. Haha, let's go. I've put away the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda. No one will use this pagoda to harm people in the future. Ningqing laughed before landing on the ground. The old fogey knew about Ningqing's origin. Although he was surprised, he could accept it. Esau and Ningqing entered the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda together. Thinking about Ningqing casually climbing to the 9th floor of the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda, and the scene of Ningqing grabbing Dao integration Holy Emperor Di Wuxuan's neck, he felt that it was completely normal for Ningqing to put away the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda. Even Great Emperor Ping Ding, an ancient Great Emperor, had to call him senior. It would be strange if he was simple. However, Zhang Tai and Li Kuanghe were stunned. If the 9 Dao space suppression pagoda could be put away without refining it, then Di Wuxuan would have to be a fool to stay here and refine it. Zhang Tai made up her mind to build a good relationship with Ningqing, and then join forces with him to go to the Heavenly Alliance Dao Pagoda. Congratulations, Brother Ning. Zhang Tai was the most shocked and the first to react. She came to congratulate Ningqing. After Zhang Tai congratulated him, the others came to congratulate Ningcheng. Ningcheng smiled. Let's go back to the Heavenly Alliance Star City first. I still have some things to deal with. Ningcheng naturally had to perfect the mysterious yellow bead, obtain the 5-element spirit water, and then refine the spirit-transforming spear. Brother Ning is the most powerful primordial essence Holy Emperor I've ever seen. I believe that with Brother Ning's means, we can definitely reap greater benefits in the Heavenly Alliance Dao Pagoda if we join forces. Zhang Tai walked to Ningcheng's side with a smile and spoke with a gentle tone. At this moment, she remembered the man who took her to the top of the tidal pagoda. Perhaps only he could compare with Ningcheng. As for the other geniuses she knew, they were nothing in front of Ningcheng. Hearing Zhang Taiyi's words, Isa looked at her in surprise, but he quickly retracted his gaze and pretended not to know anything. He knew very well that Ningcheng would never go to the Heavenly Alliance Dao Pagoda with Zhang Taiyi again. Ningcheng had already reached the 18th floor of the Heavenly Alliance Dao Pagoda, so what was the point of going in? Was it for someone else? Sure enough, Ningcheng showed a smile. Many thanks for Dao friend Tantai's appreciation, but I don't plan to enter the Heavenly Union's Dao Pagoda for the time being. I'll be using Brother Yi's Heavenly Alliance planet to cultivate in seclusion for a period of time. Isa quickly replied. From now on, the Heavenly Union Star will belong to Brother Ning. If Brother Ning wants to do anything in the Heavenly Union Star, I, Isa, will do my best to help. The best place for seclusion in my Heavenly Union Star is the Heavenly Union Star Mountain. If Brother Ning wants to go into seclusion, then go to this place. Zhang Tai was slightly startled. She thought that Ningcheng would enter the Heavenly Alliance's Dao Pagoda for the second time soon. She did not expect that Ningcheng would not have such an idea at all. He made her, who rarely miscalculated, taste the taste of failure. She quickly reacted and quickly said with a smile, "Then I'll wish Brother Ning a higher level in advance. I'll still live in the Heavenly Union Star, and take some time to visit the Heavenly Union Dao Pagoda. In the future, after Brother Ning comes out of seclusion, you can always come to my residence as a guest." After saying that, Zhang Tai took the initiative to take out her communication pearl, and wanted to exchange auras with Ningcheng. Ningcheng always felt that Zhang Tai was too utilitarian, and didn't want to associate with such a woman. It's just that this woman had always been friendly and valued him a lot. Now that she even took out her communication pearl, he couldn't pretend that he didn't know about it. He also took out his communication pearl and exchanged auras with Zhang Tai. The old fart swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He suddenly wondered if he should really treat Ningcheng as his boss. With his strength, as long as he didn't meet a powerhouse like Go Wansheng, he could protect himself in the void and slowly recover his strength. But it would still be a bit scary. If he followed his boss Ningcheng, he wouldn't have to worry about his safety at all. Since Ningcheng chose to stay in seclusion in the Heavenly Union Star, why couldn't he stay by Ningcheng's side and continue to be a little brother? Thinking of this, the old fart was about to speak when Ningcheng patted his shoulder hard again. "Old fart, I have something to ask you. But because I've been busy, I didn't have the time. So now is the right time to ask you. Senior, if you have any questions, this junior will do his best to answer them." The old fart patted his chest and showed his loyalty. Ningcheng didn't care about the old fart's loyalty. He knew that this old fart, who had lived for countless years, wasn't as easy to talk to as he seemed. "Old fart, do you know about the 10 major spirit techniques?" Ningcheng asked casually. What he really wanted to ask was not about the 10 major spirit techniques, but whether the old fart cultivated a karmic cultivation method. The old fart always talked about karma. Moreover, when he first met the old fart, it was in an illusory karma house. Because of this, Ningcheng wanted to ask about this matter. He didn't plan to cultivate a karmic cultivation method, but now that he advanced to the Dao fusion realm, he planned to cultivate a karmic spirit technique. Isa and the others didn't expect Ningcheng to ask this question. Although they all knew a little about it, they didn't speak. The old fart was the one who had lived the longest here, so it was most appropriate for him to answer this question. The old fart froze for a moment, then sighed and said, "Senior, I know what you want to ask. You want to ask about the 10 major spirit techniques circulated in the 5 grand realms. I do know about them. Ningcheng felt a little puzzled. Old fart, are there different versions of the 10 major spirit techniques? The old fart explained. There are indeed different versions, but it doesn't matter. There are only 10 types of 10 major spirit techniques that have been passed down. The first is the good fortune spirit technique. The second is the fate spirit technique. The third is the formless spirit technique. The fourth is the karmic spirit technique. And the fifth is the strength spirit technique. Wait. Ningcheng stopped the old fart's words. You said that the 5th ranked spirit technique is the strength spirit technique? Pure power? The old fart nodded cautiously. Yes, it is indeed the strength spirit technique. You can't understand it because your power has not reached the extreme. As long as your power reaches the extreme, you will find that many terrifying spirit techniques are nothing but floating clouds in front of you. Ningcheng didn't refute it this time. In fact, he somewhat agreed with the old fart's words. Perhaps this was the meaning of the phrase, one force can overcome 10. Just like before he came from Earth, the current strength comparison on Earth was based on power. Whoever's firepower was more powerful. Seeing that Ningcheng didn't continue to ask, the old fart followed up. The 6th is the samsara spirit technique. The 7th is the spirit pattern spirit technique. The 8th is the spirit light spirit technique. The 9th is the 5 elements spirit technique. And the 10th is the yin-yang spirit technique. Nowadays, most people know that the real spirit techniques are not these. And no one thinks that such a ranking is inappropriate. Ningcheng had already forgotten that he originally wanted to ask the old fart if he cultivated a karma cultivation method. Instead, he asked, Old fart, do you mean to say that the 10 major spirit techniques are not these? The old fart smiled. Of course, there are still a few decent ones among these 10 major spirit techniques. But what are the rest of them? Bah. I haven't asked for your advice. Ningcheng cupped his fists, with a cautious expression on his face. The old fart, on seeing Ningcheng attach so much importance to him, even felt a little startled. He quickly waved his hand and said, If senior wants to ask, then this junior will naturally try his best to answer. Ningcheng really didn't think much of this old fart who was good at using people. However, the old fart's insight made him look at him in a different light. What was the most precious thing on earth? Talent was the most precious. What was a talent? Naturally, it was a talent who understood a certain aspect. Although the old fart's character was not good, he was still a talent. Seeing Ningcheng being so polite, the old fart replied with even more seriousness. The 10 major spirit techniques are fabricated. I don't know if the 10 major spirit techniques exist or not. But as far as I know, the most powerful spirit techniques in ancient times were not these, but the 8 major cultivation methods. Each of these 8 great cultivation methods will give rise to a peerless great divine ability. Even Esau and the others paid attention to what the old fart had to say. Feeling that he was being taken seriously, the old fart spoke up in a sonorous tone. The first spirit technique is the good fortune spirit technique. The second spirit technique is also not wrong, it's the fate spirit technique. The third spirit technique is not the formless spirit technique, but the karma spirit technique. The fourth spirit technique is the reincarnation spirit technique, and the fifth spirit technique is the strength spirit technique. The sixth spirit technique is the formless spirit technique. The seventh spirit technique is the law spirit technique, and the 8th spirit technique is the stars spirit technique. In order to cultivate these 8 great divine abilities, one must first cultivate these 8 great cultivation methods. For example, if you want to learn the fate spirit technique, you must have a fate cultivation method. Ningcheng froze for a moment and asked subconsciously, what about the absolute beginning God rune, absolute beginning God light, grand essence spirit thunder, and the other spirit techniques? The old fart showed a hint of disdain at the corner of his mouth. God rune, spirit light, and spirit thunder, all of these spirit techniques evolved from the 6th spirit technique, the formless spirit technique. For example, the fate spirit technique, blessing spirit technique, disaster spirit technique, and so on are all branches of the 2nd spirit technique, the fate spirit technique. However, these spirit techniques have been passed down for a long time, and are very powerful. No one would find it wrong to say that they are one of the current top 10 spirit techniques. Ningqing froze for a moment. Only now did he realize that among the top 10 spirit techniques, the Absolute Beginning God Rune, the Absolute Beginning God Light, the Grand Essence Spirit Thunder, the Tai Chi Yin and Yang, and the Tai Yi Spirit Technique were the formless spirit techniques. In other words, the Icebound Space and the Law-Breaking Spirit Techniques he created were just branches of the top 8 spirit techniques. Do you cultivate a karma cultivation method? Ningqing looked at the old fart and asked. The old fart said with a bitter smile. If I had such a great opportunity, why would I fear Go Wansheng? What I cultivate is a branch of the karma cultivation method, called the minor formless cultivation method. Ningqing didn't expect that the old fart's cultivation method would have a similar name to his cultivation method. He cultivated the mysterious yellow formless, while the old fart cultivated the minor formless. That's just some idle chatter. Many of the 8 great divine abilities have disappeared. What remains now are just some branches. Of course, these branch spirit techniques are also very powerful. The old fart quickly added on seeing Ningqing's thoughtful expression. Ningqing also smiled. That's true. Let's return to the Heavenly Union planet first. Now that they didn't even have a third-step powerhouse, it was normal for the 8 ancient cultivation methods and spirit techniques to disappear. Chapter 1198. After returning to the Heavenly Union planet, Zhang Tai had no reason to stay. She could only invite Ningqing again before leaving. However, the old fogey found an excuse to stay in the city master's mansion. He felt that since Go Wansheng had just left, it would be safer for him to stay by Ningqing's side. Moreover, after a period of observation, he felt that this senior Ningqing really did not care about his heaven and earth cauldron. Ningqing didn't care whether the old fogey left or not. At this moment, he was in secluded cultivation at the Heavenly Union Star Mountain, the place with the densest spiritual qi in the Heavenly Union Star God realm. This place was originally Esau's cultivation place, but now that Ningqing chose to stay here in seclusion, he did not hesitate to give it to Ningqing. Aside from that, there were also 10,000 barrels of Heavenly Alliance Stardew. There were not many Heavenly Alliance Astral Dew. However, due to its high price, few sold. Esau, except for a very small number of them, simply gave all of them to Ningqing. Ningqing liked the Heaven Alliance's Stardew very much, so he did not refuse Esau's gift to him. In any case, on the surface, there was basically no major change in the Heavenly Alliance Star City, apart from the fact that someone had set foot on the 12th floor of the Heavenly Alliance Dao Pagoda, and someone had destroyed the Heavenly Alliance Star Restaurant. The Heavenly Union planet was a huge void city, and the Heavenly Union Mountain was the safest place in the entire Heavenly Union planet with the densest divine spirit qi. If Ningqing went into seclusion in this place, then even if he did not arrange any array formations, he would still be absolutely safe. Nevertheless, Ningqing still arranged layers of restrictions outside the Heavenly Union Star Mountain. The mysterious yellow bead was not a trivial matter. As such, he wanted to perfect the mysterious yellow bead. Esau wouldn't have any problems, but in case something big happened while he was perfecting the mysterious yellow bead's world, it would definitely not be a good thing. Therefore, it was necessary to take some precautions. Within the mysterious yellow bead, Ningqing had already let the void explosive golden wasps and chasing bull enter the true spirit world. Just in case, he sent the true spirit world outside the mysterious yellow bead. Chasing bull, on the other hand, was quite lazy. Even with so many super cultivation resources, it could only reach Starry Sky Grade 9. As for Dao's sculpting comprehension, it still fell far short. On the other hand, the void explosive golden wasp king was more diligent, and had already reached Starry Sky Grade 8, which was equivalent to the life and death realm. The few exploding golden wasps around the exploding golden wasp king also had strength hovering around class 6. Only when the exploding golden wasps gathered in a swarm would they pose a formidable threat. Currently, the exploding golden wasps were not in a swarm, so Ningqing did not expect them to play much of a role. After sending off Chasing Bull and the exploding golden wasps, Ningqing started to arrange array formations again. In addition to protecting the inheritance sapling under the tree, he also protected his divine herb garden with layers of protection. After doing all these, Ningqing took out the breath soil. The fist-sized piece of breath soil felt as heavy as a planet, and even Ningqing's spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate it. From the looks of it, even if Di Wuxuan used the breath soil to refine the 9-Dao space suppression pagoda, the breath soil would not disappear. Moreover, Ningqing also had releasing soil and gung soil. These two types of soil, be it in terms of weight or aura of laws, were far from being comparable to the living soil. Even after looking at it for a long time, Ningqing still could not see anything. He placed the growing soil on the ground, and raised his hand to take out the half of the wood origin bead that was sealed by a restriction. Ningqing opened the restriction, and a powerful force from the mysterious yellow bead swept away the half-wood origin bead. A blue-colored explosion erupted in the air. Immediately Ningqing felt the mysterious yellow bead violently shake. An ear-piercing roar erupted from the mysterious yellow bead, as if the mysterious yellow bead was about to explode in the next moment. The sea and mountains formed by the mysterious yellow bead also seemed to shake and slowly disappeared from Ningqing's line of sight. Instead, it was replaced by a chaotic blur, followed by the endless chaotic power of the Tao charm laws. The crazy power of the laws of heaven and earth continued to emerge, causing Ningqing to feel horrified. He had already perfected the mysterious yellow bead several times. Every time he obtained the origin bead, he would complete it once. But it had never caused such a huge commotion, and this was just the beginning. Before Ningqing could figure out what was going on, a terrifying suction force swept over, and Ningqing felt the Tao charm aura, and all the power around him getting sucked away. Even he himself would be bound and unable to move. Ningqing felt horrified. If it were an ordinary perfected mysterious yellow bead, he wouldn't have felt bound. In any case, the mysterious yellow bead was his thing, and his life wouldn't be in danger. But now he had to collect the 5 elements spirit water. Once the breath soil and the mysterious yellow bead's world merged, and he could not move, the 5 elements spirit water would disappear from the primal chaos world. Ningqing had just thought of this, when he saw the breath soil on the ground suddenly float up, and then explode in the air. The Tao charm law aura from the mysterious yellow bead, and the Tao charm law aura from the breath soil fused together, and sounded like the sounds of nature. Dozens of rainbow-colored dewdrops floated down from the sky, extremely beautiful. This was definitely 5-element divine water. He had not expected there to be so little of it. Seeing the mysterious yellow bead's Tao charm getting stronger and stronger, Ningqing couldn't care less about the damage to his body, and raised his hand to cast a law-breaking spirit technique. At this moment, the effects of the law-breaking spirit technique were extremely weak, and it only allowed Ningqing to move. Ningqing brought out the measureless gourd, and raised his hand to collect the dozen drops of 5-element spirit water that had yet to fall to the ground. Putting away the 5-element spirit water, Ningqing didn't have the time to put away the measureless gourd. This time, the law power not only began to crazily absorb the Tao charm aura around Ningqing, but it also quickly swept away part of Ningqing's essence blood. With a click, no matter how strong Ningqing's body was, he couldn't withstand such a terrifying pressure. Isa had been in a good mood recently, not only because his Tao companion Xu Rui had been rescued, but also because Xu Rui's terminated meridian body had disappeared due to the quintessential essence of the universe's restoration. Xu Rui's cultivation had indeed plummeted, but Isa didn't care. As long as he was still on the Heavenly Union planet. Even if Xu Rui didn't have any cultivation, with Xu Rui's perception, he was confident that he could help Xu Rui reach primordial chaos again. Another reason was that he got to know a powerhouse like Ningqing. Since taking charge of the Heavenly Union planet, he had seen too many powerhouses. This was the first time he had met a powerhouse like Ningqing. Moreover, Ningqing's temperament wasn't that kind of person. He was the kind of friend that Isa wanted to make. Big brother Sa, did Ningqing hide his cultivation? Otherwise, how could he be so powerful? At this time, only Isa, Xu Rui, and Li Kuanghe were sitting in the Heavenly Union Star City's City Lord Mansion. The one asking the question was Xu Rui, whose blood and qi were growing more vigorous. With Xu Rui's current state, she could enter seclusion to restore her cultivation in half a month. Isa smiled when he heard Xu Rui's words. I'm sure he didn't hide his cultivation. Moreover, he hasn't crossed the first heaven's blight. Otherwise, he would have become even stronger. If I'm not wrong, his cultivation method should be one of the 8 great cultivation methods mentioned by Great Emperor Pingding. Li Kuanghe nodded. He agreed with Yisaw's words. Otherwise, Ningqing wouldn't have put away a treasure like the 9 Dao Space Suppression Pagoda so easily. At this moment, a dazzling yellow light shot into the sky. The spirit Qi and Dao Charm aura crazily swept through the entire void. Yisaw and the other 2 instantly caught sight of it. Yisaw's expression changed, and he immediately rushed out of the City Lord mansion. It's Brother Ning's seclusion place. Li Kuanghe's expression also changed drastically. He had wanted to say that Ningcheng might have a top-grade treasure, but at this time, such a phenomenon appeared in Ningcheng's seclusion place. Even without Li Kuanghe's words, the few of them could see it clearly. In the depths of the Heavenly Union Star Mountain, a terrifying yellow light shot into the sky. Endless heaven and earth laws and Dao Charm aura, as well as the aura of gods, crazily rushed over from the endless void. Then, like a whirlpool, they all sucked into the yellow light. Not good. Yisaw's face suddenly turned pale. It was imaginable that such a terrifying aura would definitely attract the experts in the surrounding void. No matter how strong Yisaw was, he couldn't help Ningqing block the impact of so many experts. Li Kuanghe's expression also changed. What Yisaw thought, he obviously also thought of. Just as Yisaw expected, countless people in the Heavenly Union Star City flocked to the Heavenly Union Star Mountain. As for the endless void outside the Heavenly Union Star, many experts also felt this scene and rushed over. Everyone stop. This is the Heavenly Union Star Mountain, where I cultivate in seclusion. Yisaw immediately blocked the Heavenly Union Star Mountain's mountain protecting array. Yisaw had perfected Dao integration strength. Coupled with Xu Rui's return, his Dao heart had become more mellow. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was at the half-step creation realm. The Dao Charm nomological power around him swept out and immediately suppressed the many experts. City Lord E, we just want to go over and see what's going on with that yellow light. Besides, City Lord E isn't in seclusion right now. A late-stage primordial chaos expert called out from the crowd. Yes, we just want to see what's going on with that yellow light. More people in the crowd echoed. Ningcheng had perfected the mysterious yellow bead, so the yellow light didn't have any mysterious yellow origin aura. Otherwise, even with Yisaw blocking in front, everyone wouldn't have been able to resist the greed in their hearts and rushed into the Heavenly Union Star Mountain. Yisaw frowned and was about to speak. Suddenly he heard a chuckle. The Heavenly Union Star Mountain is a private seclusion place. Who told you that you can go in whenever you want? City Lord E isn't in seclusion, but can't other people enter seclusion here? The one who spoke was the old man. He wanted Ningcheng's protection, so he naturally wouldn't fall behind. He was sure that the yellow light was caused by Ningcheng's seclusion. Given Ningcheng's strength, who would he be afraid of? Since Ningcheng wasn't afraid of anyone, he naturally had to come out and show his loyalty. If Yisaw had said this, perhaps no one would have refuted it. However, the old man's superficial strength was too much. He had just reached Dao validation, and seemed to have yet to stabilize. Almost at the same time as the old man finished speaking, a man at the early stage primordial chaos snorted. Would seclusion cause such a big commotion? A rare treasure must have appeared. Chi. 2 black flashes that cut through the void were thrown out by the old man, and directly swept towards the early stage primordial chaos expert. The early stage primordial chaos man was shocked. He didn't have time to take out his Dharma treasure. His entire body transformed into a twisting ribbon, trying to escape from the space created by the 2 black flashes. Too late. The old man's voice reached his ears. Then the early stage primordial chaos sacred emperor saw a huge cauldron shadow land on top of his head. Chapter 1199. Another ray of light swept over. This ray of light forcibly blocked the cauldron image of the old man's cosmos cauldron. The old man's expression turned ugly. City Lordy, why are you blocking me? Why can't I kill this kind of trash who wants to attack other people's cave abodes? Yisaw looked calm, but he despised the old man in his heart. He did not believe that the old man did not know that these people could not be killed now. There were so many people here. Once he killed one, it would incur public anger, and he would not be able to stop it. There's no hurry to kill them. These people are guests of the Heavenly Union planet. After all, they have not attacked the Heavenly Union planet yet. Esau said faintly. The old man's expression changed very quickly. He immediately chuckled and stopped talking. In fact, he did not care about public anger. If he wanted to kill, he would kill until blood flowed like a river. He, the great Emperor Pingding, had not killed so happily in a long time. Moreover, there was a senior behind him. What was there for him to be afraid of? Unfortunately, Esau was too timid and did not dare to provoke a group battle. This made him lose a lot of fun. The early stage primordial chaos sacred emperor, who had been saved, quickly retreated in fear. He did not dare to say anything. He had dared to ask this because he knew that Esau would not dare to do anything. Who knew that someone would really dare to do so? The yellow flare is slowly disappearing. Someone in the crowd saw the soaring yellow flare gradually disappear, and immediately exclaimed. The yellow flare had disappeared, but the divine spirit Qi and heaven-earth law Tao runes that swept over had not disappeared. Instead, they had become stronger. Boom! A roar came from outside the Heavenly Union planet. Esau's heart sank. What he had been most worried about had come. When the yellow flare had soared into the sky, he had been afraid that someone would come to the Heavenly Union planet to cause trouble. It had only been a while, but someone had already arrived outside the Heavenly Union planet. Quang He, stay here and protect Brother Ning. I'll go out and take a look. Esau quickly flashed away after saying that. The vision has disappeared. As soon as Esau left, the people surrounding the Heavenly Union Star Mountain saw the whirlpool-like divine spirit Qi, and the Tao rune aura that had been sucked and disappear without a trace. The Heavenly Union Star Mountain returned to its original state. The surrounding cultivators began to hesitate, and wondered if they should go in and investigate. Although Esau had stopped the old man from killing the early-stage primordial chaos cultivator, many low-level cultivators were still worried. When Ning Cheng finally opened his eyes, he felt as if his entire body had changed. A spirit essence power that was even thicker than when he advanced to primordial chaos filled his body. He remembered that before he fainted, his bones had clearly been crushed by the terrifying aura of the rules, but now he was completely fine. The surrounding space seemed to have changed a lot, causing Ning Cheng to leap up. At this moment he was truly stunned. This was the real world. Everything in front of him became clear. The blue sky might be the same as before, but there was an additional stable aura of the Tao rhyme laws. The sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the lakes, the seas, the marshes. Ning Cheng finally caught hold of that difference. It was the derivation of a kind of vitality. Although his Xianhuang world had been formed previously, it seemed to be in a state of relative stillness. But now, it was as if there was an additional aura of the life rules that kept growing, and he vaguely controlled all the rules of this world. Ning Cheng's gaze then fell onto the vast sea. He saw a huge island on the seashore, with a tree that he was very familiar with. Even if the mysterious yellow bead belonged to him, and everything inside belonged to him, he could still feel that this island was faintly discernible. Is this the mirage tree? Ning Cheng took in a deep breath. He did not expect that the colorful mirage tree, which had been withered in the mysterious yellow bead, would not only come to life, but also grow on this island that had suddenly risen from the sea. However, Ning Cheng did not feel too surprised, because he was the master here. As for these reasons, he would definitely figure them out. Ning Cheng decided to wait and see about the mirage tree. He reached out and grabbed the measureless gourd that had fallen not far away, while an indescribable feeling welled up in his heart. The mysterious yellow bead, at this moment, felt like a part of his life, integrated with his entire soul. As long as he willed it, the mysterious yellow bead would not reveal even the slightest bit of aura. He even had a feeling that even if he did not put away the dozen drops of 5 elements spirit water, he could still extract them from the earth of the mysterious yellow world. Ning Cheng's starry sky sea of consciousness vaguely experienced a new change at this moment. He felt that as long as he grasped onto something, his starry sky sea of consciousness would no longer continue to expand and stabilize, but would instead reach a new level. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness extended out, and immediately saw the many cultivators surrounding the Heavenly Union Star Mountain. The old fogey and Deacon Li were blocking the Heavenly Union Star Mountain, not allowing anyone to come in. The atmosphere was tense, and it felt as if a war could break out at any time. Ning Cheng quickly rushed out of the mysterious yellow bead and put away the true spirit world. Seeing Ning Cheng about to throw it into the mysterious yellow bead again, Chasing Bull quickly called out, "Master's means are now unfathomable. I also want to breathe the air outside. Moreover, I feel that in the endless void, I will have more opportunities to comprehend the Grand Tao." Chasing Bull was a lively fellow, but because of its low strength, Ning Cheng had let it stay in the mysterious yellow bead to look after the divine grasses. Chasing Bull was already tired of such days. Now that it knew that its master Ning Cheng's strength had greatly increased, if it missed the opportunity to come out, it didn't know when it would have to wait. Ning Cheng had a clear understanding of Chasing Bull's moral integrity. Therefore, he felt that Chasing Bull's words were not wrong. Chasing Bull had the bloodline of the wind-seeking heavenly bull celestial beast. Although its mysterious yellow bead had become a true top-grade world, it still lacked the various kinds of people in the void. Tao sculpting wasn't something that could be achieved behind closed doors. If Chasing Bull wanted to Tao sculpting, it had to enter the void and interact with more people and things. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng nodded. "Okay, you can follow me from now on. You don't need to enter the mysterious yellow bead anymore." With his current strength, even if others knew that Chasing Bull had the bloodline of a spirit beast, no one would dare to snatch the wind-seeking heavenly bull. Master is wise and mighty. Chasing Bull following Master is a stroke of luck, a stroke of opportunity, and a stroke of genius. Shut up. While Chasing Bull was still talking, Ning Cheng gave a shout. Chasing Bull closed its mouth without any care and looked at the void exploding golden wasps on the side with pride. Ning Cheng also looked at the exploding golden wasps and asked, "What about you? Do you want to stay outside or enter the mysterious yellow bead to continue cultivating?" The void exploding golden wasps suddenly sent Ning Cheng a message. "Master, I want to enter the void alone. Staying in the mysterious yellow bead's world is of no use to me. I'm the wasp queen, and I want to find my queen and more exploding golden wasps." Ning Cheng couldn't help but feel ashamed when he heard this. Because the strength of the exploding golden wasps was much lower than his, he didn't care about it. However, he never thought that the exploding golden wasps lived in groups, nor did he think that the exploding golden wasp king needed a queen. "Okay, I'll send you into the endless void. What happens in the future will depend on your own luck." Ning Cheng spoke without hesitation. Since the exploding golden wasp king had already recognized him as its master, he didn't need to bind the exploding golden wasps to himself. "Many thanks, Master." The exploding golden wasp sent another message. It was far from being as good at flattering as Chasing Bull, but after hearing about it, it still felt a little affected by Chasing Bull. Apart from Chasing Bull and the exploding golden wasp king, Ning Cheng also saw the underworld crow ghost Rattan king. It's just that the underworld crow ghost Rattan king had fallen into a deep slumber after advancing to Starry Sky Grade 9. "Come on, let's go out and have a look." Ning Cheng stepped out of the restriction and landed beside Li Kuanghe and the old fogey. Seeing Ning Cheng come out, the old fogey felt overjoyed and quickly called out, "Senior, these people wanted to attack your seclusion, but I tried my best to stop them. Fortunately, Senior came out, otherwise, I wouldn't have known what to do." When Chasing Bull heard the old fogey's words, its gaze immediately fell on the old fogey. It secretly thought to itself that this fellow would be a formidable opponent in the future. Moreover, this fellow's ability to curry favor with others wasn't any weaker than its own. "I just borrowed City Master Yi's place for seclusion for a few days. I don't know how I offended you, but why did you come here to attack my seclusion cave?" Ning Cheng's gaze swept over the many cultivators surrounding the Heavenly Union Star Mountain, and spoke with an indifferent tone. Some of the cultivators knew about Ning Cheng's origins. The matter of Ning Cheng punching Go Wanxing away in the Heavenly Union Star restaurant had already spread out. "I heard that he was the one who climbed to the 12th floor of the Heavenly Union Dao Pagoda." Wasn't he the one who punched Go Wanqing away in the Heavenly Union Star restaurant? It must be him. Otherwise, how could City Master Yi give up the Heavenly Union Star Mountain? Discussions broke out in the crowd, and some of the cultivators even wanted to retreat. Senior, we only saw a beam of yellow light shooting into the sky and endless divine spirit chi and Dao Rune aura being absorbed by the yellow light. We thought it was a phenomenon, so we wanted to see the specific situation. A mid-stage primordial chaos sacred emperor said respectfully in the crowd. Many people also knew that the old fogey was Great Emperor Pingding. Since the old fogey addressed Ningcheng as senior, he, a middle-stage primordial chaos holy emperor, naturally had to address Ningcheng as senior. Ningcheng guessed that his mysterious yellow bead must have caused a huge commotion during the improvement process, which attracted everyone. He raised his hand and blasted out a yellow beam of light. Under the operation of the mysterious yellow formless, endless spirit chi and Dao charm aura swept over. Are you talking about this? This is the aura of my cultivation. Do you have a problem with me cultivating in seclusion here? Ningcheng's tone turned cold. Ningcheng raised his hand and caused such a commotion. Many cultivators apologized one after another and quickly retreated. It turned out that what they saw was a commotion caused by Ningcheng's cultivation, not the birth of a rare treasure. It seemed normal for a powerful senior like Ningcheng to cause such a commotion while cultivating. He had punched Go Wanqing away. If he got angry, he would have to bear the consequences. Originally, Chasing Bull wanted to open its mouth and say a few words when so many experts appeared here. However, it was suppressed by the powerful aura and did not dare to speak at all. Now that it saw Ningcheng's power, which scared everyone away, it immediately rushed out proudly. A group of ants. How dare you come here and be arrogant? You've disturbed my master's seclusion. This old bull will swallow you all. Ningcheng's face turned ugly. He saw that some people ignored Esau's dissuasion and still attacked the Heavenly Union Star's star-protecting Grand Array. Chapter 1200. Brother Ning, you're out of seclusion? Esau, who was standing next to the planet-protecting array, exclaimed in surprise when he saw Ningcheng. There were dozens of experts outside the planet-protecting array. The strongest of them was no weaker than Esau, and there were two of them. Only 4 primordial chaos sacred emperors were attacking the array. In Ningcheng's opinion, their cultivation level was only at the mid-stage primordial chaos sacred emperor. City Lordy, these 4 people are very bold. Ningcheng pointed at the 4 people attacking the planet-protecting array. The Dao integration sacred emperors hadn't made a move yet. Yet these 4 primordial chaos sacred emperors had dared to attack the planet-protecting array. Esau said helplessly, "These 4 people are very strange. Don't look at their cultivation level that hasn't reached Dao integration. However, the 4 of them aren't afraid of anyone in this void. When they fight, the 4 of them act like one person. No matter where they are, they can condense their spatial law in an instant and form a spatial array. This is their spatial innate talent, which others can't learn at all. Once you're trapped in the spatial array, even I'm afraid it'll be difficult for you to escape." They were also notorious in this area. One of them was called the 4 Void Brothers, which meant brothers, not ferocious. Because they're strong, they never separate. After saying that, Esau glanced at the group of people behind the 4 and said, "There are a few Dao integration experts here. These 4 people are just relying on their master's power. I'll go out and meet these guys." After saying that, Ningcheng stepped out without waiting for Esau to open the planet-protecting array. Esau stared blankly at Ningcheng as he appeared outside the planet-protecting array, wondering how Ningcheng had gotten out. The planet-protecting array hadn't been opened, so it wasn't easy to enter from the inside or the outside. How had Ningcheng done it? He hadn't given Ningcheng the array's control flag. The Void Domain 4 brothers noticed Ningcheng as soon as he came out of the planet-protecting array. The 4 of them surrounded Ningcheng without thinking. The 4 of them fought together, regardless of whether their opponents were Dao Integration Sacred Emperors or Primordial Chaos Sacred Emperors. Sure enough, the void around Ningcheng was completely out of his control the moment the 4 of them surrounded him. It was as if someone had created a new rule space in the blink of an eye. and he was the person trapped in this new rule space. Sure enough, Ningcheng raised his hand and used a law-breaking spirit technique. The spatial shackles around him, which had changed the laws around him, weakened instantly, and Ningcheng punched out. The fact that the four Void Brothers were able to form an independent space in such a short amount of time was indeed due to their innate spatial abilities. However, at this moment, the four of them were extremely shocked. Ever since their space condensation mystic art was formed, it had never shown signs of weakening. Even if it was used against a Dao integration expert, it would be strengthened to the extreme in an instant. Now, a mere early-stage primordial chaos cultivator had used a divine power to weaken their condensed space. This was simply outrageous. Bang! A mist of blood sprayed out, and a mid-stage primordial chaos sacred emperor standing opposite Ningcheng turned into a mist of blood. One of the four had fallen, and the binding space disappeared at the same time. The remaining three felt a chill in their hearts. What kind of terrifying divine ability was this? It could break the spatial laws they had condensed themselves. Their spatial talent was because they could condense a new spatial law, which even Dao integration experts could not ignore. Now, it had been broken by a divine power and a punch. The remaining three hurriedly retreated, but Ningcheng did not chase after them. He knew that even if he chased after them, he could not kill the three of them at the same time. Isa also opened the planet protecting array. This was not the first time he had seen Ningcheng's divine power. This divine power seemed to be able to break the heaven-earth law. Ningcheng had used it in the 9 Dao sky-suppressing pagoda. Isa was already used to Ningcheng's strength, but the many experts surrounding the Heavenly Union planet were shocked. Ningcheng, who was an early-stage primordial chaos cultivator, had broken the four Void Brothers' space condensation mystic art with a punch. Moreover, he had also killed one of them with a punch. I believe that City Lord Yi will not stop you if you want to enter the Heavenly Union planet. Why did you attack the Heavenly Union planet's planet protecting array? Ningcheng's gaze swept across the group of people as he spoke in a cold tone. A Dao integration man in a yellow robe walked up. He first cupped his fists at Ningcheng and then cupped his fists at Isa before saying, "We saw the Heavenly Union planet's yellow light soaring into the sky and the Dao rune whirlpool, so we wanted to come and see what was going on." Ningcheng did not even explain and said directly to everyone, "If you want to go to the Heavenly Union planet, you can. However, if anyone dares to attack the Heavenly Union planet's defense array again, I will not hesitate to kill them." Ningcheng's words were filled with killing intent. Apart from a few Dao integration sacred emperors who frowned slightly, the rest remained silent. Ningcheng had just broken through the space-related innate techniques of the Void Four Elder Brothers, and killed one of them with a single punch. Everyone had seen it clearly. No one would want to offend an expert like Ningcheng if it was not necessary. Isa had opened the Heavenly Union planet's planet protecting array, mainly to prevent a large number of experts from indiscriminately rushing into the Heavenly Union planet and besieging the Heavenly Union planet mountain, which would affect Ningcheng's reclusive cultivation. Now that Ningcheng had come out of seclusion, he opened the planet protecting array without hesitation and said in a flat tone, "Brother Ning's words are my words. If you want to go to the Heavenly Union planet, you can. However, if you attack my Heavenly Union planet's planet protecting array, I, Isa, will definitely hunt you down. There are only 3 Void Brothers left, and these 3 people will be wanted by my Heavenly Union planet." Seeing Isa really open the Heavenly Union planet's planet protecting array, everyone froze. But soon, everyone reacted and cupped their fists towards Isa before rushing into the Heavenly Union planet. Ningcheng didn't bother to explain at all. He believed that these people would quickly figure out what was going on after rushing into the Heavenly Union planet. "Brother Ning, did these people disturb you when they attacked the Heavenly Union planet?" Isa asked apologetically. Ningcheng smiled. "No, I still have to go into seclusion for a while. After this period of seclusion ends, I plan to ask you for some advice. City Master Yi, you can go back first. My 2 companion beasts are here. I'll deal with them." Isa also saw Chasing Bull and a few exploding golden wasps coming over, and guessed that they were Ningcheng's companion beasts. After greeting Ningcheng, he quickly rushed into the Heavenly Union planet. The experts who rushed into the Heavenly Union Star Mountains didn't know what was going on. Therefore, he couldn't let these people rush into the Heavenly Union Star Mountains. Master, my cultivation is too far away from yours. When Master unleashed his might, I still fell behind. Chasing Bull came up and spoke with a flattering tone. Ning Cheng ignored Chasing Bull and turned to the exploding Golden Wasp King and said, "Once you enter the void from here, you can only rely on yourself. In case of an emergency, you can send me a message through the Life Origin Call." The Life Origin Call was a call that consumed the essence, blood, and soul of a companion beast. It could only be used to call the owner of the companion beast. However, after this call, the companion beast would fall into a state of weakness. Ning Cheng and the exploding Golden Wasp King had a master-servant relationship. Therefore, the exploding Golden Wasp King could naturally find Ning Cheng through the Life Origin Call. "Yes, Master, I'm leaving." After the exploding Golden Wasp King sent a message to Ning Cheng, it rushed into the void with a few exploding golden wasps, and quickly disappeared. "Master, are we leaving too?" Chasing Bull looked at the exploding golden wasps disappearing into the void with envy, and asked in a weak voice. It liked lively places the most, but it was most afraid of staying in the mysterious yellow bead. Ning Cheng waved at the old fogey in the distance, and the old fogey hurriedly ran over and called out, "Senior." Ning Cheng patted Chasing Bull and said to the old fogey, "This is my companion beast. I still have some things to take care of in seclusion. My companion beast likes lively places. Take it to the Heavenly Union Star City." The old fogey quickly patted his chest and said, "Leave it to me." When Chasing Bull heard that Ning Cheng wanted it to wander around the streets, it became even more excited and started flattering him. The previous envious thoughts of the exploding Golden Wasp King had long since been thrown out of the 9 heavens. So what if the exploding golden wasps were free? Didn't they still have to wander around in the void? Compared to it, it would have to go to the bustling streets to eat and drink. As Ning Cheng guessed, the many powerhouses who came to the Heavenly Union Star City quickly figured out what was going on. It turned out that the soaring yellow light was caused by a powerhouse who had climbed to the 12th floor of the Heavenly Union Dao Pagoda. It wasn't a weapon at all. No one did not know what kind of place the Heavenly Union Dao Pagoda was. It was normal for a powerhouse who could climb to the 12th floor to cause such a commotion. However, this was just an interlude. Esau issued an arrest warrant for the remaining 3 of the Void 4 brothers, while Ning Cheng returned to the Heavenly Union Star Mountains to go into seclusion. Although he said that he wanted to go into seclusion, only Ning Cheng knew that he wanted to refine the Spirit Transforming Spear. The main materials for refining the Spirit Transforming Spear were Twilight Sand, 5 elements Spirit Water, and Heaven-Opening Iron Essence. Now that he had all 3 materials, and the Celestial River Flame had also advanced to the Sacred Flame, it fully met the conditions for refining the Spirit Transforming Spear. If Ning Cheng still had any worries, it was that his artifact crafting level was too low, and he couldn't refine a peerless weapon like the Spirit Transforming Spear. As for the 5 elements Spirit Water, Ning Cheng didn't care at all. Even without the 5 elements Spirit Water, he intended to use the Heaven-Opening Iron Essence to refine the spear. This time, Ning Cheng did not refine the Spirit Transforming Spear in the mysterious yellow bead, but directly refined it in the Heavenly Union Star Mountain's Immortal Cave. Although the mysterious yellow bead's level was high, it had just formed, and its vitality was still growing. Moreover, there was not a large number of living beings living in it. Ning Cheng feared that it would affect the spirituality of the Spirit Transforming Spear. Before refining the Spirit Transforming Spear, Ning Cheng spent a lot of time arranging a spiritual gathering array and a top-grade defensive array. After everything was ready, he took out the Twilight Sand, Heaven-Opening Iron Essence, and 5 elements Spirit Water. One could say that since learning artifact crafting, Ning Cheng had never refined a weapon so seriously. This time, Ning Cheng chose not to use an artifact crafting furnace. The Celestial River Flame had advanced to the Sacred Flame and gained spirituality. Without an artifact crafting furnace, it could display the freedom of the flame. As soon as Ning Cheng brought out the Heaven-Opening Iron Essence and sent it into the Celestial River Flame, the Celestial River Flame immediately sucked in the endless spirit chi. Even with the obstruction array formation, a huge spirit chi vortex still formed outside the Heavenly Union Star Mountains. Unlike before, no one went to the Heavenly Union Star Mountains this time. Everyone knew that the powerhouse who climbed to the 12th floor of the Heavenly Union Dao Pagoda was currently in secluded cultivation. If the first time affected the seclusion of such a powerhouse, then it could be said that no one knew about it. But if the second time affected the seclusion of such a powerhouse, then perhaps the Heavenly Union Star would turn into a river of blood. Chapter 1201. The celestial river flame slowly melted the profound sky iron mother, the twilight sand, the 5 elements divine water. Ning Cheng sent a mysterious and esoteric formula into the melted materials, causing the embryo to slowly take shape. Ning Cheng, at the beginning, was consciously trying to control the speed of the embryo's formation, but towards the end, he was completely immersed in the epiphany of the crafting artifacts. Whether it was the technique he sent out or the changes in the control embryo, they were all completely integrated with the surrounding space and environment. As the aura of Taoist rhymes entered and the array foundations were carved, the artifact embryo kept changing. At first, it only absorbed the Tao charm aura that Ningqing sent into it. But now, it continuously absorbed the Tao charm laws of heaven and earth. The chaotic presence from the melting of the heaven-splitting essence was gradually covered up by the water, and the artifact embryo became more and more ordinary. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. Aside from the divine spiritual chi whirlpool that was continuously sucking away the Heavenly Alliance's star mountain, there were no other movements. At this time, Ningqing didn't make any other movements apart from forming mysterious artifact crafting methods with both hands and sending out various Tao charm. The celestial river flame and Ningqing shared a telepathic connection, and under the complete control of Ningqing's mind, it constantly changed the shape of the spear embryo. Another half a year flashed by, and Ningqing's complicated hand gestures suddenly changed, changing into a storm-like speed. The long spear embryo in Ningqing's hand also buzzed and vibrated. However, Ningqing suddenly opened his eyes. At this moment, the hand seals he inserted into the good fortune divine spear grew even faster. Everyone in the Heavenly Union Star City discovered that even more terrifyingly dense God spiritual energy and various laws of heaven and earth were flocking towards the Heavenly Union Star Mountain. Apart from that, streams of killing aura gathered and rushed into the divine spiritual energy whirlpool outside the Heavenly Alliance Star Mountain. Now, all the cultivators in the Heavenly Union Star City knew that the movements in the Heavenly Union Star Mountain were caused by a powerhouse's cultivation. Because of this, no one dared to approach the Heavenly Alliance's Star Mountain. It was one thing for his cultivation to cause such a huge commotion that lasted for a year, but now he even had to absorb the killing aura. Just how powerful a cultivation technique did he have to cultivate to be able to achieve this? Many cultivators even deliberately flew into the void to observe the movements of the Heavenly Alliance's Star Mountain. In the City Lord Mansion, Esau rubbed his hair with a bitter smile. Ningqing's cultivation had caused too much of a commotion. Previously, he had created a sky-piercing yellow light, and now, he had created a terrifying spiritual chi whirlpool. But now he even had to absorb the Tao runes, laws and killing aura. Just what kind of cultivation method did he cultivate? Even the creation cultivation technique of the 8 great cultivation techniques could not compare to this, right? Just when everyone marveled at Ningqing's powerful cultivation method, an extremely weak and decaying aura suddenly descended. This weak aura fell towards the Heavenly Alliance's Star Mountain. Not good, Brother Ning is about to cross the Deva's blight. Esau immediately noticed it, and quickly rushed out of the City Master's mansion. In the Heavenly Alliance's Star City, many people were stunned when they saw the weakening aura descending frantically. This was simply a little too ridiculous. No matter how powerful a cultivation technique was, it shouldn't be to the extent of causing immortal decay during cultivation. There were too many sage emperors in the Heavenly Alliance Star City who had experienced the first heaven's blight. But no one's Deva's blight was so terrifying that it could actually form a vortex and descend. Just how strong did one have to be to not completely decline? Ningqing stood up in shock and stared at the creation divine spear suspended above his head. This spear, including the spearhead, was only 2 meters long. The body of the spear was light cyan, and the spearhead looked extremely ordinary. The only thing special about it was the Tao runes condensed in the middle of the spearhead. But what shocked Ningcheng was that the creation divine spear he had just refined was actually crossing a tribulation. No, it wasn't crossing a tribulation, but it was crossing a decay. As the decaying aura of the Deva's blight descended, the creation divine spear started to crazily absorb it. What was going on? If he hadn't heard about the Deva's 5 decays, he wouldn't have known what was going on. Every time the Tao runes of decay seeped into the creation divine spear, the creation divine spear would grow dimmer. Although the creation divine spear's aura did not weaken, Ningcheng still frowned. The aura did not weaken, which meant that the creation divine spear's grade did not decrease. But this grade made Ningcheng feel that something was wrong. After a few days, the creation divine spear's absorption of the decaying aura finally stopped. An ordinary long spear fell into Ningcheng's hand, and Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness immediately penetrated into the long spear. In just a few breaths, Ningcheng's expression turned ugly. The creation divine spear in his hand was just a low-rank spirit artifact, or rather, barely a low-rank spirit artifact. He had spent a lot of energy, used so many treasures, and even delayed the completion of the mysterious yellow bead. Yet, what he refined was just a low-rank spirit artifact. At this moment, Ningcheng felt that there was nothing more ridiculous than this in the world. According to his original thoughts, even if the creation divine spear could not surpass the top-grade spirit artifact, it should at least be a top-grade spirit artifact. But now, not to mention the creation divine spear being a top-grade spirit artifact, if it was just a little bit weaker, it might not even be a low-rank spirit artifact. Moreover, the creation divine spear's absorption of the decaying aura had not affected the creation divine spear's grade. Otherwise, the creation divine spear would have truly fallen to a low-rank weapon. Ningcheng shook his head. It seems that he would have to rely on the void cold light spear in the future. He grabbed the creation divine spear, and was about to throw it into the mysterious yellow bead when he sensed a faint fluctuation. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness immediately penetrated into the long spear, and he was shocked to find that the creation divine spear was absorbing the laws and killing power of heaven and earth. Was this a treasure that could evolve on its own? Otherwise, why would it absorb the killing power and laws after it formed a weapon? After a few breaths, Ningcheng confirmed that his guess was correct. The creation divine spear was indeed a treasure that could evolve on its own. The creation divine spear was not only absorbing the laws of heaven and earth, but also the various killing power and aura. It was also slowly absorbing the spirit chi. Ningcheng felt overjoyed. No wonder it could cross the decaying aura. It turned out to be like this. From the looks of it, he could not use the creation divine spear for now. As long as he put the creation divine spear into the mysterious yellow bead, he could then take it out and use it after it evolved to a higher level. Ningcheng put the creation divine spear into the mysterious yellow bead, and felt very satisfied. Although the creation divine spear did not reach the level he expected, it was much more pleasing than he expected. But in just a few breaths, Ningcheng once again took out the creation divine spear. He felt even more puzzled to find that after the creation divine spear entered the mysterious yellow bead, it really became like an ordinary weapon, and could no longer absorb the laws and killing power. What was going on? Ningcheng grabbed the creation divine spear, and once again let his spiritual consciousness seep into it. Sure enough, outside the mysterious yellow bead, the creation divine spear could absorb all kinds of laws and killing power. Moreover, there was an extremely decaying aura lingering around the creation divine spear. Ningcheng knew that this decaying aura was formed when the creation divine spear crossed the decaying aura. The creation divine spear could not grow on its own inside the mysterious yellow bead, which made Ningcheng feel very depressed. He took out a ring and put the creation divine spear into it. This time, Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness followed the creation divine spear. After a while, Ningcheng found that the creation divine spear could absorb the laws and killing power inside the ring. It was just that the speed was more than 100 times slower than the outside world. Moreover, the aura became even thinner after passing through the ring's restrictions. He refined a long spear, but he could not put it into the ring. Ning Cheng's expression turned even more depressed. He had already guessed a few things. He had perfected the mysterious yellow bead, and life force had just begun to emerge. It was impossible for it to have the endless aura outside. Although it had killing power, it didn't have the kind of bloody killing power. As for the various human auras, the mysterious yellow bead was even more blank. Ning Cheng went into seclusion to refine artifacts for a year, while Isa worried about Ning Cheng for a year. He was afraid that some blind guy would rush into the Heavenly Union Star Mountain without asking anything, and cause Ning Cheng's Dao charm fluctuations. Fortunately, after a year, the place where Ning Cheng went into seclusion finally quieted down. The vortex of killing power that had been crazily absorbing the laws disappeared completely. But before Isa could breathe a sigh of relief, something even more worrying happened. Ning Cheng actually began to cross the decaying aura at this time. With Ning Cheng's cultivation, he would most likely cross the first Deva's blight, the primordial blight. He knew Ning Cheng's strength very well. One of the main reasons why so many people did not dare to enter the Heavenly Union Star was because of Ning Cheng's reputation. Ning Cheng had long been famous in the Heavenly Union Star. He was a powerhouse who had climbed to the 12th floor of the Heavenly Union Dao Pagoda. His cultivation had also created a vortex of movement, which made people feel flustered. Now that Ning Cheng had started to cross the decaying aura, who knew if someone would take the opportunity to attack Ning Cheng? Isa worried for a few days, and was thinking about what to do when the aura of Deva's blight that Ning Cheng had absorbed disappeared. Before he could look for Ning Cheng landed outside the city master's mansion. "Brother Ning, you." Isa ran out and looked at Ning Cheng standing outside the city master's mansion. What puzzled him was the long spear Ning Cheng was carrying on his back. Isa had seen Ning Cheng's long spear artifact before. It was the void cold light spear with a slightly damaged spearhead. But the long spear Ning Cheng was carrying now was definitely not the void cold light spear, but an ordinary long spear. In his eyes, this long spear was at most a low-rank spirit artifact. Ning Cheng also felt very embarrassed. Not only did he carry a long spear, but he also carried an unremarkable low-rank spirit artifact on his back. In order to upgrade his long spear to a top-rank spirit artifact as soon as possible, Ning Cheng didn't want to put the long spear into the mysterious yellow bead. Moreover, Ning Cheng vaguely felt that his long spear had absorbed the laws and killing power of heaven and earth to upgrade to a top-rank spirit artifact, which meant that it was much stronger than a top-rank spirit artifact refined by him. "I just refined it. It's the best weapon I've ever refined. It has a commemorative meaning, so I carried it on my back." Ning Cheng smiled and found an excuse to explain. Isa felt relieved. Not everyone could refine spirit artifacts. Since Ning Cheng could refine a spirit artifact, it showed that Ning Cheng's artifact crafting level was quite good. "Brother Ning, please come in." Isa didn't continue to ask about the good fortune divine spear. What he wanted to know most was what that powerful decaying aura was when Ning Cheng went into seclusion. Before seeing Ning Cheng, he thought that Ning Cheng was crossing the decaying aura. Now that he saw Ning Cheng, he felt sure that Ning Cheng wasn't crossing the decaying aura. Chapter 1202. Thank you, Brother E, for lending me a place to cultivate in seclusion. I've gained a lot. Ning Cheng expressed his gratitude as soon as the two of them sat down. Ning Cheng had gained a lot after perfecting the mysterious yellow bead and refining the creation divine spear. Isa quickly waved his hand and said, "Compared to Brother Ning's great kindness, these things are not worth mentioning at all. I thought Brother Ning would have to cultivate in seclusion for a while, but I didn't expect you to come out so soon. Is it because of the Deva decay?" Ning Cheng hesitated for a while, and finally decided to tell Isa about the creation divine spear's tribulation transcendence. Isa was a person worth befriending, so there was no need to hide it. "Brother E, I'm not the one who transcended the decay. It's the spear on my back," Ning Cheng said as he patted the creation divine spear on his back. Isa stared at the creation divine spear on Ning Cheng's back with wide eyes. This was the first time he had heard of a low-grade divine weapon that could transcend the decay. He had never heard of a Dharma treasure that could transcend the decay, let alone a low-grade divine weapon. After a while, Isa heaved a sigh of relief and said cautiously, Brother Ning, although I don't know what's so strange about the spear you refined, a Dharma treasure that can transcend the decay is definitely not weaker than a Khanate Dharma treasure. Try not to tell others about this Dharma treasure. Even if Brother Ning has extraordinary means, there are countless experts in the endless void. Ning Cheng said gratefully. Thank you for reminding me, Brother Yi. I believe you're a worthy friend, which is why I told you. In addition to bidding farewell to you, I also came here to inquire about the location of heavens beyond. Isa's tone became solemn. Brother Ning, if it's not particularly important, I suggest you don't go there. Isa's words made sense. Ning Cheng had caused such a big commotion during his cultivation. Although he was safe and sound on the Heavenly Union planet, it did not mean that he would be safe in heavens beyond. Isa also knew that Ning Cheng had a Dharma treasure, the 9-Dao sky-suppressing pagoda. Besides, Isa did not recognize Ning Cheng's spear that could transcend the decay, but it did not mean that no one in heavens beyond knew about it. Ning Cheng asked in confusion. Brother Yi, I heard that there are no experts in heavens beyond, and there are very few Dao integration sacred emperors. Why can't I go there? Ning Cheng had asked Xiao Qiandong about the fact that there were no experts in the beyond of heaven and earth. To be exact, Xiao Qiandong had accidentally revealed this. While the two of them were talking, Xiao Qiandong mentioned the beyond of heaven and earth unintentionally. He also mentioned that the beyond of heaven and earth had a lot of resources, but very few powerhouses. Even Dao integration holy emperors rarely went there. Previously, Ning Cheng had thought that this was an unintentional conversation. Now that he knew the location of the beyond of heaven and earth, he naturally knew that Xiao Qiandong had said this intentionally. The reason was very simple. It was indirectly telling him that heavens beyond was very safe. The location where Dao Lord Taichu Li Jianqing had asked him to set up the teleportation array was most likely the beyond of heaven and earth. He had told Ning Cheng in advance that there were no experts in the heavens beyond of heaven and earth to dispel his concerns. There are very few experts in the beyond of heaven and earth. Isa looked at Ning Cheng in a daze and asked. Before Ning Cheng could answer, he self-deprecatingly explained. Indeed, 99% of the people think that there are very few experts in heavens beyond. Upon hearing this, Ning Cheng knew that the beyond of heaven and earth was not simple. He hurriedly asked, Why do you say that? Isa sighed. If I hadn't reached the perfected Dao integration realm, and even touched the edge of the creation realm, perhaps I wouldn't have known the importance of the beyond of heaven and earth. The beyond of heaven and earth is a place where many planes intersect. It's bustling and lively, and there are indeed very few experts there. It's rare to even see a Dao integration holy emperor. It can be said that on the surface, the beyond of heaven and earth might not necessarily have as many true experts as the Heavenly Union planet. Did you meet a top-notch Dao integration expert, Brother Yi? Ning Cheng asked in confusion. Isa looked up at the void in the distance. I reckon that I didn't see a Dao integration expert, but a true third-step almighty. I saw two experts fighting in the void. I reckon that the two of them had a rift in the beyond of heaven and earth, so they arranged to fight in the void. I happened to be watching the battle from the sidelines. That kind of valiant power almost tore the void apart. At that time, I was already at the perfected Dao integration realm, and nothing happened to my cultivation partner, Xu Rui. It can be said that my strength was at its peak. Given my strength, I was watching from afar, and my mind was still unstable from the aftermath of the battle. That majestic starry sky was so powerful that I still remember it clearly. I'm afraid it's not something a second-step Dao validation Holy Emperor can do. Third-step Dao validation? Creation realm? They didn't notice you watching from the sidelines? Ning Cheng exclaimed in surprise. Isa said in a somewhat lonely tone. I'm sure they saw me watching from the sidelines, but they probably didn't take me seriously. After the two of them fought and left, I hurriedly went to the beyond of heaven and earth. I went there to find treasures of heaven and earth to help my cultivation partner, Xu Rui, attain primordial chaos. The beyond of heaven and earth attracts countless people because there are all kinds of treasures of heaven and earth there. I stayed in the beyond of heaven and earth to participate in all kinds of auctions. By chance, I saw one of the two experts who were fighting back then. Brother Ning, do you know what he was doing? Even Ningcheng could not help but ask, what was he doing? Esau said with a trace of lingering fear. He was setting up a stall outside an inconspicuous market. I almost thought I was seeing things. Later on, that expert smiled at me with a meaningful smile. I hurriedly bought a lot of things from his stall, and left in a hurry without even returning the price. At this point, Esau sighed and said, I originally thought that my strength was considered powerful in the beyond of heaven and earth. Even if someone was more powerful than me, they wouldn't be able to suppress me. After that incident, I realized that the beyond of heaven and earth is definitely not that simple. In order to obtain materials for Shu Rui's advancement, I had to stay in the beyond of heaven and earth for 1,000 years. During these thousands of years, I learned something more obscure. There are many top-notch experts living in seclusion in the beyond of heaven and earth. The purpose of these experts might be for the safety of their respective planes, or for something else. They never openly declare their strength in the beyond of heaven and earth. Even if the major forces of the beyond of heaven and earth fought, they never intervened. Ningcheng gasped. There were so many experts hiding in the dark in the beyond of heaven and earth. Li Jianqing was simply courting death if he wanted to set up a teleportation array in the beyond of heaven and earth. How could there be no experts hiding in such an important place like the beyond of heaven and earth? If Li Jianqing was setting up a teleportation array somewhere else, he would help. If it was really the beyond of heaven and earth, he could not blame him for not helping. Ningcheng did not feel guilty at all for not helping Li Jianqing set up a teleportation array in the beyond of heaven and earth. Back then, Xiao Qiandong had been caught between a rock and a hard place. If Qinglan had not suddenly appeared, he would definitely have suffered a great loss under Ao Beijiang's hands. Obviously, Li Jianqing was not sincere in cooperating with him. In other words, he just wanted him to help set up a teleportation array. Thank you, Brother Yi, but I still have to go to the beyond of heaven and earth. I'll be more careful then, Ningcheng said gratefully. Jiang Man and Mu Yueping had specially rushed to the beyond of heaven and earth for the sake of the breathing soil. Not to mention that Jiang Man and his wife were friends. Even if they had no relationship, Ningcheng would still go to the beyond of heaven and earth for this reason. Esau clearly understood Ningcheng's character. After listening to Ningcheng's words, he no longer tried to persuade him. Instead, he took out 2 jade slips and handed them to Ningcheng while saying, Brother Ning, I've already engraved these. One is the 2 routes to the beyond of heaven and earth, and the other is to the 5 realms void city. Ningcheng hurriedly took the jade slip and asked, which is closer to the beyond of heaven and earth or the 5 realms void city? Ningcheng did not doubt that Esau knew that he needed the void route to the 5 realms. Since the old fart knew about this, it was not surprising that Esau knew about it as well. Esau had obviously studied the distance between these 2 places. As soon as Ningcheng asked, he answered, the beyond of heaven and earth and the 5 realms void city are very far from the heavenly union planet. In comparison, the beyond of heaven and earth is much closer. It's almost a quarter of the distance to the 5 realms void city. If Brother Ning wants to go to the beyond of heaven and earth and the 5 realms void city, I suggest you go to the beyond of heaven and earth first. It's not because it's closer, but because after you go to the beyond of heaven and earth, you can take the teleportation array to the Jade River planet in the void city at the edge of the beyond of heaven and earth. When you arrive at the Jade River planet, there are teleportation arrays to the various void cities. This way, it's more convenient to go back to the 5 realms void city than to the 5 realms void city directly from here. I've written these routes in the jade slip. Ningcheng had initially been hesitant about whether he should go back or go to the beyond of heaven and earth first. Now that Esau had said that it would be more convenient to go back to the 5 realms void city, Ningcheng decided to go there first. 3 days later, Ningcheng and Esau bade farewell and left the heavenly union planet. The old fart was afraid of death, so he followed Ningcheng when he left the heavenly union planet. On the other hand, Chasing Bull and the old fart were very close. The 2 of them had been wandering around the heavenly union star city for a year, but they still looked as if they regretted not meeting each other earlier. This made Ningcheng very speechless. That Esau is really useless. The heavenly union planet is a place with a great reputation. Esau can't even build a teleportation array, let alone fly away. On the starry sky wheel, the old fart muttered. Big Brother Ping Ding is right. Apart from the large number of people, there are not many fun places in the Heavenly Union planet. Chasing Bull quickly echoed. Just call me when you arrive at the Jiatuo Void City. Ning Chung ignored the old fart in Chasing Bull, and went straight into the mysterious yellow bead to check the world. The Jiatuo Void City was the closest void city to the Heavenly Union Star City, where one could teleport to other places. Yes, Master. I will definitely call Master as soon as possible, Chasing Bull quickly said. Chapter 1203. The endless void was too vast and boundless. Even though Ning Cheng's strength was at the primordial chaos realm, and his spiritual consciousness could penetrate the boundary, he still had to use a teleportation array. If he wanted to travel from one place to another in the void, he had to use a teleportation array. It wasn't that he didn't want to tear the boundary and walk around. Given his current strength, he couldn't use his spiritual consciousness to directly penetrate several boundaries, or even the outside world, and then tear the void directly. In the vast void, the only thing that was worthless was time. Ning Chung and the others constantly switched teleportation arrays, and teleported from one void city to another. 2 years had passed while flying between the teleportation arrays and the void city. Moreover, the old fogey controlled the starry sky wheel, which saved a lot of time. If Chasing Bull controlled the starry sky wheel, the time would probably double. On this day, Ning Chung was studying the blacksmithing Dao in the cabin of the starry sky wheel when Chasing Bull excitedly sent him a voice transmission. Master, we're about to reach heavens beyond. Although there were teleportation arrays in heavens beyond, they were rarely available to guests. More than 90% of the cultivators heading to heavens beyond had to first teleport to the nearest void city, the remote cliff void city. After arriving at the remote cliff void city, they would take a flying Dharma treasure and enter heavens beyond directly. Ning Chung quickly put away the things in his hands, and walked out of the cabin of the starry sky wheel. When the old fogey saw Ning Chung, he quickly stepped forward and greeted him as a senior before retreating to the side. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept out, and saw the outline of a huge star city suspended in the void in the distance. Even with his powerful spiritual consciousness that could penetrate the boundary, he could only see the outline. Even though it was just the outline, he could feel the vast vicissitudes of life. There was no immortal charm aura, but it gave people a heavy feeling. Like the Heavenly Union Star City, Heavens Beyond was also a star city. A star city was a planet with only one city. The vague outline of Heavens Beyond was like Earth. Many star cities and void cities in the void did not have an atmosphere. Ning Chung saw a thick atmosphere in Heavens Beyond. What surprised Ning Chung even more was that Heavens Beyond's planet protecting array did not have one layer, but many layers. He did not know how many defense arrays were hidden in it. Not to mention that there was still a boundary separating them. Even if there was no boundary separating them, Ning Chung did not think that he would be able to see how many layers this defensive array had. The beyond of heaven and earth was indeed different. After getting close to the beyond of heaven and earth, there were more and more flying Dharma treasures around. This place was like a general dock, and countless flying Dharma treasures from all directions were flocking there. Ning Chung put away the starry sky wheel, and landed on the void square of the outermost layer of the mysterious yellow heavens beyond heaven with the old fogey Chasing Bull. Ning Chung thought that since there were so many people in heavens beyond, they would definitely have to pay divine crystals to apply for a jade card or something. After arriving there, he realized that he did not need to do anything to enter the beyond of heaven and earth. He just needed to queue up and enter in an orderly manner. Unlike most void cities, the entrance to the beyond of heaven and earth was not real. Instead, it was a void teleportation array door. When Ning Chung saw this void transmission array entrance, he immediately understood that if he arranged this array entrance, he would not be able to arrange it so perfectly. This void transfer array gate did not require any god crystals at all. Instead, it completely absorbed the weak god's spiritual energy in the void. Using Earth's technology to describe it, it was an energy-saving product. What was more powerful was that Ning Chung could see that this teleportation array was at least an interrealm teleportation array, or even a plane teleportation array. It seemed that this was not the only teleportation array to enter the beyond of heaven and earth. Every plane should have such a void array gate. After stepping into the void array gate, his body trembled slightly before he landed on the ground again. Soon the old fogey and chasing bull also appeared beside Ningcheng. The three of them still landed on a square. 5 huge words with Dao runes were suspended in the air of the square. Beyond of heaven and earth. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness swept back again, but he could not see anything outside the beyond of heaven and earth. Ningcheng did not dare to use his spiritual consciousness to forcibly break the restriction, unless he did not want to live anymore. This also made him understand why the beyond of heaven and earth used the void array gate to teleport cultivators in and out. The defense arrays in this place were layered, and it was simply too difficult to walk in or out of the beyond of heaven and earth. Not knowing if Jiang Man and his wife had reached the beyond of heaven and earth, Ningcheng first took out his communication pearl and sent a message to Jiang Man seniors. Are you new here? Let's go to our Heavens Beyond Hotel. The service there is definitely thoughtful, and will give you a feeling of home. Before Ningcheng and the other two could walk out of the square, an Eternal Realm cultivator appeared beside Ningcheng and spoke in an exaggerated tone. Since the old fogey and Ningcheng were here, it was not his turn to speak. He did not think that Ningcheng would stop. He had been with Ningcheng for some time, and had some understanding of Ningcheng. Given this senior's personality, most of the time he would make his own decision to find a rest stop instead of listening to others and agreeing to it. Hotel? Why not call it a restaurant or rest stop? Ningcheng asked in confusion. The Eternal Realm cultivator smiled apologetically and said, in the beyond of heaven and earth, a restaurant, rest stop and a hotel all have the same meaning. These places also exist, but a hotel is more imposing. I guarantee that senior will not be disappointed. Ningcheng nodded. In that case, then you can take me to see your hotel. The cultivator quickly said, Senior, please come with me. In just half an incense stick worth of time, the cultivator brought Ningcheng and the other two to a dilapidated divine herb building. Just when Ningcheng still felt puzzled, the cultivator awkwardly pointed to an inconspicuous sign above the medicinal building and said, Our hotel is above this medicinal building. Ningcheng did not know whether to laugh or cry as he looked at the floating words on the second floor of the medicinal building. Heavens Beyond Grand Hotel. The old fogey stared at the eternal cultivator fiercely. If Ningcheng wasn't here, he would have taught this ant a lesson. This fellow actually dared to make fun of him, brought him to such a broken place, and even called it a hotel. Ningcheng's gaze fell on a tall building across the street. The words Heavens Beyond Rest Stop were floating above the tall building. The Heavens Beyond Rest Stop was a real restaurant. Compared to the Heavens Beyond Hotel, it looked like an underground hotel. You're quite good at doing business. Help me find out if there are any good treasures in the beyond of heaven and earth for me. Even if it's a stone or a piece of soil, as long as it contains top-grade treasures, you can bring it to me at the Heavens Beyond Rest Stop. I will give you a satisfactory reward and reward you with a falling scar Dao pill. Take these spirit crystals as a tip for leading the way. After saying that, Ningcheng threw a storage bag to the eternal cultivator before turning around and walking towards the Heavens Beyond Rest Stop with the old fogey and Chasing Bull. Chasing Bull didn't react and asked from the side, Master, this kid dared to trick us into coming here. What kind of business is this? The old fogey showed a smile. This kid didn't cheat us. Maybe there really is an empty room on the second floor of the medicinal building. In fact, he didn't want us to stay in the hotel on the second floor of the medicinal building, but in the Heavens Beyond Rest Stop opposite. Since he was the one who brought them here and wanted to change places, of course, they would give him some tips. What he earned was the tips. Of course, this is Senior Ning's magnanimity. If it were me, I would have slapped him to death. When the eternal cultivator brought Ningcheng here, Ningcheng immediately understood what he meant. He also understood that this low-level cultivator wanted to earn some spirit crystals. Not everyone was as easygoing as him, and would even take out some spirit crystals as a tip for changing places. As the old fogey said, once he met someone with a bad temper, he would most likely slap them to death. Since this fellow could come up with such an idea to earn tips by leading the way, It showed that he had a very flexible mind, and was also very familiar with the mysterious yellow heavens beyond. It was the right time for such a person to inquire about the breath soil. "Senior, please wait." Ningcheng turned around, but the eternal cultivator unexpectedly called out again. Ningcheng frowned slightly. If this fellow wanted them to stay in the heavens beyond Grand Hotel, it would mean that he didn't know what was good for him. The old fogey's eyes narrowed as he stared at the eternal cultivator and spoke up in a cold voice. "Be content with what you have. If you talk any more, this emperor will slap you to death." The eternal cultivator shivered and quickly spoke up. "No, this junior doesn't want senior to stay in the heavens beyond Grand Hotel. It's about the top-notch treasures that senior mentioned. This junior knows a place that has them." Ningcheng turned around and stared at the eternal life realm cultivator before saying, "You said you know where to find top-notch treasures?" This fellow was just an eternal cultivator. Ningcheng's previous words meant that he wanted him to inquire about it. Ningcheng didn't expect this fellow to say that he knew about it. If this fellow still wanted to play tricks like before, Ningcheng wouldn't mind teaching him a lesson. Under the pressure of Ningcheng's aura, the eternal cultivator trembled again and spoke up in a trembling voice. "It's not just me. Everyone in the mysterious yellow heavens beyond knows about it. Several seniors should have just arrived at the mysterious yellow heavens beyond, which is why you don't know about it." "Oh, then tell me about it." Ningcheng's tone turned warmer. The eternal cultivator sighed and quickly bowed before saying, "In the Myriad Realm Auction. There's a treasure exhibition hall in the Myriad Realm Auction. There were 9 top-notch treasures and 99 second-class treasures. Every time the Myriad Realm Auction holds a big auction, this exhibition hall will be opened. However, cultivators who go in to see the treasures have to pay 100,000 high-grade divine crystals." Ningcheng thought to himself that the Myriad Realm Auction really knew how to do business. Even a visit cost 100,000 divine crystals, which was equivalent to robbery. Think about it. How many cultivators came to the mysterious yellow heavens beyond every year? Most of these cultivators who came to the mysterious yellow heavens beyond would probably visit these treasures. As long as they visited the treasures, it would be equivalent to giving 100,000 divine crystals to the Myriad Realm Auction. "Tell me about the top-notch treasures." Ningcheng recalled that the Great Change Realm seemed to have a Myriad Realm Chamber of Commerce. He wondered if it had anything to do with the Myriad Realm Auction in the mysterious yellow heavens beyond. Yes. The eternal cultivator did not dare to hesitate. "I haven't gone in, but I heard that there are innate Dragon Balls, fragments of the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe, Living Soil, Mysterious Yellow Origin, Realm Transformation Dao Fruit." "Wait, you said that the Myriad Realm Auction has living soil?" When Ningcheng asked, he already understood why Jiang Man could get the news about the living soil in the mysterious yellow heavens beyond. It seemed that the news was public. Obviously, the living soil in the Myriad Realm Auction was the treasure of the store and would not be sold. Chapter 1204. Yes, the Myriad Realm Auction does have breath soil. However, if you go in to see the treasures, you must be careful. Don't touch the restriction crystal. Someone once accidentally touched the restriction crystal when looking at the treasures. As a result, the protector powerhouses of the Myriad Realm Auction killed him on the spot. The Eternal Realm Cultivator said cautiously. Ningcheng took out a storage bag and threw it to the Eternal Realm Cultivator. He praised, "Not bad, thank you. There are some spirit crystals and a falling scar Dao pill inside. Consider it as your reward." The shop assistant was overwhelmed with happiness and quickly thanked Ningcheng. Even if the shop assistant didn't remind him, Ningcheng wouldn't touch the restriction crystal when he entered the Myriad Realm Auction's exhibition hall to see the treasures. The Myriad Realm Auction wouldn't be able to take out the treasures for people to see without a strong enough strength. "Old fart, you and Chasing Bull go to the heavens beyond rest stop opposite and find a few spacious rooms. I'll go to the Myriad Realm Auction to take a look." Ningcheng was in a hurry to go to the Myriad Realm Auction. He wanted to see the breath soil and was a little worried about Jiang Man and Mu Yueping. The main reason was that Jiang Man and Mu Yueping's cultivation level was too low. According to reason, Jiang Man and Mu Yueping should have already reached heavens beyond. Since they were already in heavens beyond, the two of them wouldn't leave so quickly. If they hadn't left, why didn't they reply to his message? The Myriad Realm auction stood in the middle of the main street of heavens beyond and occupied a large area. The main building was even more magnificent, showing the status of the Myriad Realm auction in heavens beyond. Although the auction hall wasn't open yet, two Tao Nourishment Divine Emperors were still standing at the entrance of the Myriad Realm auction. Ning Cheng was about to go up and ask when the next treasure exhibition would be held when he suddenly heard a familiar voice transmission. "Brother Ning." Ning Cheng stopped immediately. He had already recognized the voice transmission. It was Mu Yueping. Mu Yueping was here. Why didn't she come up to see him directly? Ning Cheng didn't need to look back. His spiritual consciousness had already seen Mu Yueping's disappearing figure at the corner of the street. Ning Cheng quickly chased after her. Mu Yueping's speed was very fast, and after a few minutes, Mu Yueping finally stopped. "Senior Sister Mu, why are you here? Where's Brother Jiang?" Ning Cheng asked in surprise. Mu Yueping's face looked haggard, and her Tao charm was in disarray. A middle-stage Tao birth Holy Emperor's eyes were bloodshot, and he no longer had the demeanor he had when he stood on the Grand Essence Sea with Jiang Man. "This is not the place to talk, Elder Brother Ning. Please come with me." Mu Yueping finished, once again turned around and walked away. Ning Cheng had a bad feeling in his heart. Mu Yueping was acting mysteriously, while Jiang Man did not have even the slightest bit of news. It looks like something had gone wrong. Mu Yueping quickly brought Ning Cheng to an extremely remote rest stop. Once they entered the room, Mu Yueping immediately activated the restriction and spoke in a sad voice. "Elder Brother Ning, do you have any way to save Elder Brother Man?" "Brother Jiang, what's wrong?" Since Mu Yueping wanted him to save Jiang Man, then it meant that Jiang Man was not in danger. Mu Yueping tried hard to calm herself down before she slowly said, "Brother Man and I came to the beyond of heaven and earth 4 years ago. After we arrived, we found out that the breathing soil was someone else's treasure and was not sold at all. At this time, we had no way to send news back to the Grand Essence Realm. Later, Brother Man and I found all kinds of cultivation resources here. As long as we have spirit crystals, we can buy almost anything. The two of us were ready to wait for you here, and use the resources here to break through to the Tao Transformation Realm." At this point, Mu Yueping's expression became a little excited, and her eyes filled with regret. But it didn't last long. 3 years ago, the Beyond of Heaven and Earth held a large-scale auction. One of the treasures auctioned was a top-notch Great Spirit Power, the innate Nirvana Flame Spirit Power. This spirit power can only be cultivated by cultivators who cultivate karma cultivation methods. "Not good," Ning Cheng exclaimed. If nothing had happened to Jiang Man, Ning Cheng would not have such foresight. Now that Mu Yueping mentioned this spirit power, something had happened to Jiang Man. No matter how slow Ning Cheng was, he could guess that something had gone wrong with Jiang Man's bid for this spirit power. More than 90% of this innate Nirvana Flame spirit power was a bait, and the bait was for the karma cultivation method. The person who bid for the innate Nirvana Flame spirit power must have a karma cultivation method. Otherwise, they wouldn't have spent such a high price to bid for this spirit power. Mu Yueping clenched her fists and said, "Because I was in seclusion at that time, I didn't participate in the auction." After Brother Man saw this spirit power, he almost took out all his assets to bid for it. But he didn't expect that this spirit power would be a death sentence. As soon as Brother Man obtained this spirit power, he felt that someone was targeting him. At that time, Brother Man also knew that he had fallen into a trap. Ning Cheng's heart sank. This was a matter from a few years ago, and he didn't even know if Jiang Man's bones were still around. Mu Yueping's voice choked with sobs. After Brother Man knew that he had fallen into a trap, he sent me a message as soon as the auction ended. He told me how he fell into the trap, and told me to crush the communication pearl immediately, and move to another place to live until you came. I listened to Brother Man, and moved away right away. After that, I never heard from him again. Over the years, I stayed here and wandered around the Myriad Realm auction every day, just to wait for you to come. Jiang Man was very decisive. His communication bead must have been crushed by him. Probably everything related to Mu Yueping had been destroyed by him. What those people want is the karma cultivation method jade strip in my ring, right? Ningqing asked. Mu Yueping nodded. I guess that's the case. These people are after that jade strip. Ningqing frowned. If he could exchange the jade strip for Jiang Man, Ningqing wouldn't hesitate to give it to others. Ningqing knew very well that if he took out the jade strip, Jiang Man would die even faster. If it were him, he would definitely find a way to hold the other party back. He believed that after Jiang Man suffered a loss, he would also think of dragging the other party out and waiting for him to come. He just didn't know if the other party had the patience. If not, Jiang Man wouldn't have survived. Senior Sister Mu, I've implicated you in this matter. If it weren't for the breath soil, you and Brother Jiang wouldn't have come to heavens beyond. Ningqing felt a little guilty. Mu Yueping shook her head. As long as we're still in the void, we'll come to heavens beyond sooner or later. Sooner or later, we'll be fooled. Ningqing knew that Mu Yueping was right. It would be strange if a cultivator who cultivated karma cultivation methods didn't try to get their hands on a karma cultivation method divine ability. Senior Sister Mu, don't worry. We don't have any clues now. We have to find out who released the inner Vanna flame divine ability first. Ningqing comforted her. He was most worried that the person who released the inner Vanna flame divine ability would not leave any information in the Myriad Realm auction. Mu Yueping gradually calmed down with Ningqing by her side. Brother Ning, although I didn't dare to go to the Myriad Realm auction to check this information, I can guess that the person who released the inner Vanna flame divine ability would not leave any information in the Myriad Realm auction. I can guess that even if I went to check, I wouldn't be able to find anything. Since that person wants the inner Vanna flame divine ability, he won't leave any accurate information. But we have another way. What way? Ningqing asked immediately. Check the surveillance array records of the Myriad Realm auction. The Myriad Realm auction allows others to check the surveillance array records, but it costs 10 million spirit crystals to check for a year. Mu Yueping's tone was firm. Apparently she had investigated it thoroughly. Ningqing heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, we'll check the year when the auction was held. Mu Yueping shook her head and said, that won't do. The Myriad Realm auction's investigation must start now. For example, if you want to check the records from 5 years ago, you have to pay 50 million spirit crystals. If we check the records from 3 years ago, we have to pay 30 million spirit crystals. Ningqing marveled in his heart. The Myriad Realm auction really knew how to do business. Regardless of whether it was an exhibition or this kind of investigation, it was all worth billions of dollars. One could imagine how much wealth the Myriad Realm auction had collected since its establishment. In that case, we'll check the records from 3 years ago. Let's not hesitate and leave now. Ningqing stood up immediately after he finished speaking. He had already delayed for 3 years, so he couldn't waste another half a minute. Even if it was about the breath soil, he had to wait until he found out Jiang Man's whereabouts. Mu Yueping was very grateful. Ningqing's attitude made her realize that they had not made friends. She changed the way she addressed him. Big Brother Ning, I'm afraid that the Myriad Realm auction has a Dao Integration Sacred Emperor in charge. You have to be careful. She had also heard about Ningqing's strength. He was a primordial Dao Sacred Emperor with strong combat power. Even stronger than ordinary primordial Chaos Sacred Emperors. Because she couldn't see through Ningqing's cultivation level, she felt uncertain. Ningqing comforted her. Senior Sister Mu, don't worry. I'll be careful. No matter how strong the Myriad Realm auction is, it can't be stronger than the Great Change Realm's Dao Court army. Besides, I don't think it's the Myriad Realm auction who attacked Brother Jiang. Ningqing was completely comforting Mu Yueping. He was sure that the Myriad Realm auction was far stronger than the Great Change Realm Dao Court army. There might even be a Creation Realm expert like Isa had mentioned. Otherwise, how could they create such a big situation in heavens beyond? Ningqing had still been suspicious when Isa had said that there was a third-step expert hidden in heavens beyond. Now he no longer had any doubts. As soon as he arrived at heavens beyond, he knew the importance of this place. If there were third-step Dao validation experts in this void, they would definitely stay in heavens beyond. Muiweping thought that the strongest person in heavens beyond was a Tao integration sacred emperor, but that was because she was not qualified to come into contact with experts. When Ningcheng and Muiweping arrived at the entrance of the Myriad Realm auction for the second time, a Tao nourishment sacred emperor guarding the door stopped Ningcheng. Taoists, the treasure exhibition and auction of the Myriad Realm auction will be held in a month. Please come again in a month. Ningcheng hurriedly cupped his fists and said, Taoist, we're not here today for the auction. We want to check the surveillance array formation records. Chapter 1205. Check the records of the surveillance formation? The Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor looked at Ningcheng and Muiweping in confusion. Generally, those who wanted to check the records of the surveillance formation had a certain level of strength and background. Most of them checked these records to seek revenge, or to find out who had obtained something. Those who were weaker would not dare to take out the divine crystals to check the records, let alone take out the divine crystals. Muiweping's cultivation seemed ordinary, but he couldn't see through Ningcheng's cultivation at all. Even though he felt that Ningcheng was young, he didn't dare to disrespect Ningcheng. I can't do this. Please wait a moment, I'll go report. After a while, the Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor came out again and said to Ningcheng and Muiweping, Please follow me. After Ningcheng followed the Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor into the auction house, his spiritual consciousness was immediately blocked. Not to mention the scene outside the auction house, even inside, he could only scan as far as his eyes could see. The Myriad Realm auction was definitely not ordinary. Ningcheng didn't use his spiritual consciousness to scan around. If he really wanted to, with his powerful spiritual consciousness, the Myriad Realm auction's spiritual consciousness isolation restriction wouldn't be able to stop him. After passing through a few corridors, the Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor brought Ningcheng and Muiweping outside a red door. Before the Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor could speak, a voice came from inside the room. Come in. The Tao Nourishment Divine Emperor didn't go in but said to Ningcheng and Muiweping, Please come in. Thank you. Ningcheng thanked him and brought Muiweping into the room. As soon as they stepped into the room, dense God Spirit Qi rushed towards them. A powerful suppressive force fused with this God Spirit Qi, giving them a silent threat. In the room was a bald man with some wrinkles on his face and extremely bright eyes. His gaze swept past Ningcheng and Muiweping and he said calmly, You want to check the surveillance records of the Myriad Realm auction? Muiweping subconsciously took a step back when the bald man's gaze swept past her. Ningcheng didn't react at all and replied calmly, Yes. May I ask how I can check the surveillance records of the past 3 years? This bald man was only at the mid-stage primordial chaos. He was still far from being able to suppress him. The bald man revealed an appreciative look. You'll have to pay 50 million deity crystals for the examination first. Then, you'll have to pay 10 million deity crystals for each additional year. So much. Muiweping exclaimed. According to this, 3 years of investigation would be 80 million divine crystals. Previously, she had only investigated that it would cost 10 million divine crystals a year. She did not find out that it would cost 50 million divine crystals to open the door. How sinister. Ningcheng cursed under his breath, but he didn't bargain. Instead, he took out a ring and handed it over. This is 80 million spirit crystals. I want to check it now. The bald man offered a price of 80 million, meaning that he was waiting for Ningcheng to bargain. In his heart, the price was already 100 million. If Ningcheng tried to bargain, then he would take the opportunity to add another 10 million. The Infinite Circles Chamber of Commerce was a unique business. If they were willing, they could take the bait. If they weren't, they could scram. What he didn't expect was that not only did Ningcheng not bargain, but he also gave out the spirit crystals in a straightforward manner, which made him look at Ningcheng in a new light. Not bad, please come with me. The bald man put away the ring and nodded to Ningcheng and Muiweping. After half an incense stick worth of time, he brought Ningcheng and Muiweping to a room made up of countless huge crystal balls. He then pointed to the smallest crystal ball in front of him and said, This is the surveillance record of the last 100 years. I opened the restriction for 3 years. You can check it with your spiritual consciousness. After saying that, the bald man turned around and walked away, not caring about leaving Ningcheng and Mu Yueping in the room with the surveillance array formation. It's so expensive. After the bald-headed man left, Mu Yueping exclaimed in surprise. This should be the cheapest one. I'm sure that if I had bargained at that time, that fellow would have raised the price again. I don't know where this Infinite Circles auction came from, but it really has a lot of momentum. I hope that it's not the Infinite Circles auction that wants to take action against Brother Jiang. If it's the Infinite Circles auction, then no matter how much momentum they have, don't blame me for being impolite. Ningcheng walked to the smallest crystal ball pointed out by the bald man, and put his hand on it. Mu Yueping stood next to Ningcheng and looked at Ningcheng's palm nervously. Looking at the records of the surveillance array formation for a year, even if one's spiritual consciousness was stronger, in Mu Yueping's opinion, it would still take at least a day or two. But what Mu Yueping didn't expect was that just an hour later, Ningcheng took out a small crystal ball and put it on top of the crystal ball he was looking at. After a dozen breaths, Ningcheng put down his hand and took out the small crystal ball. I've already found it. You can also take a look at these scenes. After that, Ningcheng waved his hand, and a scene appeared in front of him and Mu Yueping. In the scene, Jiang Man stood in the auction venue with anxiety and despair on his face. But many people walked out of the auction venue with him. This scene obviously showed the end of the auction. Mu Yueping's eyes turned red again, and she choked with sobs. Big Brother Ning, I can't tell who did this to Brother Man. I can tell, just keep watching. Ningcheng said calmly. When most of the people had left, Jiang Man slowly walked out. Mu Yueping's eyes were tightly fixed on Jiang Man's body, for fear of missing a detail. At this time, Jiang Man stopped, and his eyes suddenly fell on a thin and tall man in the distance. Mu Yueping called out in a trembling voice. Was this the person who took away Brother Man? Ningcheng spoke up in a deep voice. It should be. After Brother Jiang knew that he was being watched, he deliberately looked at this person. I'm afraid that he was waiting for me to check the surveillance records here. After Ningcheng finished speaking, Jiang Man had already walked out of the auction venue. The thin and tall man also disappeared behind Jiang Man. I don't know if this person changed his appearance or not. Mu Yueping clenched her fists and spoke with hatred. Ningcheng did not speak, but his eyes fell on the door of the room. Standing in the doorway of the room was the bald man who had brought him and Mu Yueping in. The bald man looked at Ningcheng in amazement. I didn't expect you to find what you needed in just an hour. Amazing. Ningcheng put away the crystal ball and spoke in a flat tone. I just saw this Dao friend's expression. It seems that you know the thin man in the surveillance screen. Did that person not change his appearance? The surprise on the bald man's face disappeared, and he spoke up casually. Yes, I do know him, and he did not change his appearance. Although I don't know why you are looking for this person. I suggest that you don't look for him, because you can't afford to offend him. Ningcheng smiled. Is the reason I can't look for him because he didn't change his appearance? The bald man smiled. You're smart. By the way, it's because he didn't change his appearance that you can't afford to offend him. No one is worth it for someone from his family to change their appearance, even if it's my myriad world auction. Only when one's strength reached a certain level would they have the confidence to speak like this. For the bald man to say such words, either the thin man's strength reached a certain level, or the power behind this thin man was extremely powerful. Ningcheng did not refute him. Instead, he asked, please tell me who he is. If you need divine crystals, tell me how much you need. Of course, if you don't want to say it, forget it. I believe that many people in heavens beyond know this thin man. The bald man did not care about Ningcheng's words. Instead, he stretched out a finger. 100,000 divine crystals. Myriad World Auction does business. Even if we were friends, I'd still have to collect the divine crystals. Ningcheng did not even bother to bargain. Instead, he took out a storage bag and threw it over. Here are 100,000 divine crystals. You can tell me now. The bald man put away the storage bag, looked at Ningcheng, and said meaningfully, this person is called Mao Kai. He's from the Mao family of heavens beyond. As for where the Mao family is, Anyone who has lived in heavens beyond for a while would know. Mu Yueping's expression changed and she pulled Ningcheng. Let's go first. I'll tell you something later. Ningcheng looked at Mu Yueping and asked with a smile. Are you going to say that the Mao family has a top-notch expert who has already reached the Dao integration realm? Mu Yueping nodded and sent a voice transmission to Ningcheng. I know about the Mao family. I heard that the Mao family head, Mao Wuyao, is already a late-stage primordial chaos expert. Late-stage primordial chaos? Ningcheng chuckled in his heart. If the Mao family only had a late-stage primordial chaos expert, the Myriad World Auction would not be afraid of them. The Mao family probably had more than one Dao integration sacred emperor. They might even have a third-step almighty who was above the Dao integration realm. Ningcheng did not think that Esau's information was nonsense. Since the Mao family could make the Myriad World Auction fear them, their strength was no less than a primordial chaos sacred emperor. Perhaps, as Esau had said, the true powerful forces of heavens beyond were hidden in the dark. The bald man had a disdainful sneer on his face. Since the two of you have checked and know who you are looking for, then please. Ningcheng did not leave. Instead, he added, Daoist, I have some business to do with the Myriad World Auction. The bald man nodded. What business do you have? Just tell me directly. I'll see if it's worth it to do business with you. Ningcheng smiled slightly. I'm afraid you can't make the decision for this business. Please ask the top person in charge of the Myriad World Auction to come and talk to me. Upon hearing Ningcheng's words, the bald man's expression changed and immediately turned gloomy. Then a boundless terrifying aura blasted towards Ningcheng. Since Ningcheng did not know how to appreciate favors, he decided to teach Ningcheng a lesson. Don't think that you don't know how high the sky is and how high the earth is just because you have a few divine crystals. As the terrifying aura pressed over, Mu Yueping's face suddenly turned pale. Not waiting for Mu Yueping to feel the overwhelming pressure, Ningcheng took a slight step forward, and the pressure from the bald-headed man disappeared without a trace. Chapter 1206. The bald man was shocked. Before he could speak, an even more terrifying oppressive force came and blasted him out of the door. Just as he was about to hit the opposite stone wall, that terrifying oppressive force suddenly disappeared. The moment this force disappeared, the bald man suddenly lost his direction. Just as he was about to stand up, a whirlpool swept his calf. With a plop, the bald man at the mid-stage primordial chaos fell to the ground. Ningcheng stared at the bald man coldly, and did not speak. If he had not wanted to offend the Myriad Realm Auction, the bald man's aura would have smashed the opposite stone wall. The bald man stood up in horror and hurriedly bowed before Ningcheng. I'm Deacon Liu Bai of the Myriad Realm Auction. I was blind to have offended you. Please forgive me. Ningcheng had easily blasted him away with his Dao Rune aura. This was definitely not the primordial chaos realm. Liu Bai was sure that Ningcheng was a Dao integration sacred emperor. A Dao integration sacred emperor was not a threat to the Myriad Realm Auction, but he was a fatal threat to Liu Bai. He was a deacon of the Myriad Realm Auction, and had a strong background. However, he had provoked Ningcheng first, so the Myriad Realm Auction could not do anything excessive to Ningcheng. In that case, unless Liu Bai did not leave the beyond of heaven and earth, he would fall into the hands of the other party. He did not think that a Dao integration sacred emperor would swallow his pride after suffering a loss. Mu Yueping stared at Ningcheng with wide eyes. She knew that Ningcheng was very strong. His primordial Dao realm was not weaker than an ordinary early-stage primordial chaos sacred emperor, but she had not expected Ningcheng to be so strong. Ningcheng waved his hand. I don't mind. I just want to ask if I can talk to the top person in charge here. Liu Bai quickly nodded. Senior, please wait. After saying that, Liu Bai sent a message. After doing this, Liu Bai told Ningcheng and Mu Yueping, please follow me to the VIP room. Both Ningcheng and Mu Yueping sighed in their hearts. Previously, Ningcheng had made a deal with him worth 80 million high-grade divine crystals, but he had not invited Ningcheng to the VIP room. Now Ningcheng was angry and had taught Liu Bai a lesson. Instead, he had entered the VIP room. Sure enough, strength was the reason in the endless void. Without strength, there was no reason. This time, when Ningcheng and Mu Yueping sat down, Lu Bai treated them very well. Not only did he bring divine spirit tea, but he also brought high-grade divine spirit fruits. Even if Lu Bai treated Ning Cheng as a powerhouse, the person in charge of the Myriad World Auction still made Ning Cheng wait for half a day. Only when the sky turned dark did the person in charge slowly arrive at the Myriad World Auction. Taoist friend, you said that you have an important business deal with my Myriad Realms auction. An elegant middle-aged man walked into the VIP lounge. This middle-aged man looked very peaceful. He wore a brown imperial scarf on his head, and his entire person exuded a noble aura. His words were obviously very cold, but they carried a natural aura of a superior. After he said this, there was an additional coldness in his eyes. He could clearly sense that Ning Cheng's cultivation level was still at the primordial chaos realm, and definitely not at the Tao integration realm. With this level of cultivation, even if Lu Bai wanted to conceal himself, it would be very difficult for him to do so. Lu Bai was simply regressing. A mere primordial chaos sacred emperor actually dared to make him rush over? When Mu Yueping saw this man, she quickly stood up. However, Ning Cheng didn't move. He felt a kind of pressure blasting towards him, but this pressure didn't affect Mu Yueping at all. Obviously, this person in charge wanted to give Ning Cheng a show of strength first. Boom. The Tao Integration Sacred Emperor's Tao Rune power finally collided with Ning Cheng's domain. Ning Cheng's seat shook slightly, but the Tao Integration Sacred Emperor took a few steps back before stopping. The contempt on the Tao Integration Sacred Emperor's face finally disappeared. He looked at Ning Cheng in shock and asked, Taoist friend, have you reached the peak of Tao integration? The reason why he was shocked was that Ning Cheng's Tao Rune clearly hadn't reached Tao integration. If he had, Ning Cheng's Tao Rune aura would have been dozens of times stronger. If he used his own aura to suppress Ning Cheng, he would have been blasted away or even severely injured. Ning Cheng said calmly, I'm not here to discuss cultivation with you. I want to do some business with the Myriad Realm auction. The Tao Integration Sacred Emperor didn't have the same demeanor as before. He cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng and said, I'm Shi Lin, the person in charge of the Myriad Realm auction. I don't know how to address you. And what business do you want to do with my Myriad Realm auction? Ning Cheng also cupped his fists. My name is Ning Cheng. I heard that the Myriad Realm auction has a piece of breath soil and a Xiantian dragon pearl. I want to buy these two things. When Shi Lin heard Ning Cheng's words, his expression changed, and his tone turned cold. Sorry, my Myriad Realm auction doesn't sell the breath soil and the Xiantian dragon pearl. Taoist friend, you are indeed powerful, but no one can force the Myriad Realm auction to sell anything we don't want to sell. Ning Cheng showed a slight smile. I never force anyone to do business. Doing business is all about willingness. If the Myriad Realm auction doesn't want to do business with me, then I naturally won't say anything. Since it's business, you should at least listen to my offer, right? Shi Lin's expression turned slightly better. Then Tao friend Ning, please make an offer. Tao friend Ning's offer is Tao friend Ning's business, but whether my Myriad Realm auction wants to do business with you or not is my Myriad Realm auction's business. The reason why he spoke so politely was because of Ning Cheng's strength. In his opinion, Ning Cheng's strength surpassed his own. Even if he hadn't reached the full circle, he most likely was at the peak of Tao integration. That's natural. Ning Cheng smiled and stood up. Before I make an offer, I want to see the 9 supreme treasures of the Myriad Realm. I wonder if I can have the honor? Shi Lin's expression turned ugly once again. If it weren't for Ning Cheng's strength surpassing his, he would have already told Ning Cheng to get lost. Tao friend Shi, is the Myriad Realm auction worried that I might threaten the treasures? I believe that with the strength of the Myriad Realm auction, it shouldn't have such concerns. Ning Cheng spoke with a calm tone. Shi Lin's expression returned to normal. It doesn't matter if you try to goad me. In a month's time, my Myriad Realm auction will publicly display the treasures. At that time, Tao friend Ning can naturally come and view them at will. Ning Cheng didn't expect Shi Lin to be so cautious and had to speak up. In that case, I'll make an offer. First, I can bring out purer mysterious yellow qi than the Myriad Realm auction. And it also has the aura of the origin. The reason why Ningqing wanted to see the treasures was to see how pure the other party's mysterious yellow qi was. He didn't see the mysterious yellow qi from the Myriad Realm auction, but he was sure that no matter how much mysterious yellow qi one obtained from other channels, it wouldn't be as pure as the mysterious yellow qi in his mysterious yellow bead. Even if it was as pure as his mysterious yellow qi, it wouldn't have the aura of the origin. Mysterious yellow qi with the aura of the origin? Shilin was shocked by Ningqing's words and immediately stood up. Ningqing didn't care about Shilin's shock and continued. I still have the 5-element chaos qi. Even if you don't bring the 5-element chaos qi, I can still help you get it. In addition, I can also help you get the essence of the universe. If Ningqing's words about the mysterious yellow qi with the origin shocked Shilin, then Ningqing's words about the chaos qi and the essence of the universe left Shilin dumbfounded. Even a Dao integration Holy Emperor wouldn't necessarily have one of these treasures. How could Ningqing say that he had more than one? Ningqing saw Shilin's shock and doubts and said calmly, You know that I wouldn't lie to you. If I'm not wrong, your association even has a third-step powerhouse. Even if I wanted to lie to you, I wouldn't dare. When Ningqing mentioned the third-step powerhouse, Shilin's expression remained calm. He showed neither shock nor doubt. How much essence of the universe can you take out? Shilin also realized that Ningqing wouldn't dare lie to him, so his tone turned solemn. Ningqing smiled slightly. That depends on how much the Myriad Realm auction can give me. In addition to these two things, I also need a promise from the Myriad Realm auction. What promise? Shilin immediately asked. Ningqing stood up and said word by word. Soon, I will go and destroy the Mao clan of the heavens beyond heaven. However, the Mao clan most likely has a third-step Dao confirming powerhouse. If the Mao clan really has a third-step Dao confirming powerhouse, I hope the Myriad Realm Commerce Hall can help deal with them. Shilin sneered. Daoist Ning, I'm afraid that what you have is not enough to deal with a third-step Dao confirming powerhouse. Ningqing said calmly, maybe what I have is not enough, but I have something more precious. As far as I know, the destruction of the Mao clan will only bring benefits to the Myriad Realm auction. Do you want to do this business? Shilin took a deep breath. Daoist Ning, let's not talk about dealing with the Mao clan's third-step powerhouse. Even if you take out more things, the Myriad Realm auction won't do it. However, I can give you a piece of news. The Mao clan's third-step Dao confirming powerhouse will not return to the heavens beyond within 100 years. Therefore, you don't have to worry about these things within 100 years. Ningqing was even more shocked. He had guessed that the Mao clan had a third-step powerhouse, but it was still just a guess. Now that Shilin had said with certainty that the Mao clan had a third-step powerhouse, he was still shocked. What made him feel slightly relieved was that the Mao clan's third-step powerhouse would not appear in the heavens beyond within 100 years. If this news was true, he would be able to make a move. Daoist Ning, I can't make a decision on these things now. How about this? I also have to discuss with the auction's elder to see if we can trade with you. Shilin was still reluctant to part with the quintessential essence of the universe. In terms of value, the breath soil and the Khanate dragon pearl should be more valuable than the quintessential essence of the universe. However, the quintessential essence of the universe was what could be auctioned for a high price. Too many people wanted or needed the quintessential essence of the universe. Ningqing left his communication pearl and said, Okay, as long as you have any results, you can inform me at any time. Since the Mao clan did not have a third-step powerhouse, Ningqing decided to investigate further and make a move immediately after confirming it. Upon seeing that Ningqing was about to leave, Shilin said from behind, Daoist Ning, no matter what happens, I suggest that you don't do anything to the Mao clan. Chapter 1207. Manager. After Ningqing left, Lu Bai stepped forward and greeted him carefully. Shilin waved his hand at Lu Bai and frowned as he watched Ningqing's disappearing figure. After half an hour, he came back to his senses and told Lu Bai, You did well this time. You didn't offend this person. Do you know where Ningqing came from? Why did he want to deal with the Mao family? Upon hearing Shilin's praise, Lu Bai finally felt relieved and hurriedly said, "This person came here to check the surveillance footage of the Myriad Realm auction for the past 3 years, and then retrieved the situation of the Innervana Flame Divine Ability auction 3 years ago. That's why he said he wanted to exterminate the Mao family." The Innervana Flame Divine Ability? Shilin understood after a moment of doubt. "I know. It's that fishing divine ability. The Mao family deliberately released it to find the Karma Divine Ability. Show me that video." Lu Bai worked very quickly. In a short while he used a crystal ball to engrave that video. Shilin watched the video twice before looking at Jiang Man's figure in the video and saying, "I still remember this person. He was the one who bid for the Innervana Flame Divine Ability back then." However, the person who bid for the Innervana Flame Divine Ability doesn't necessarily have a karma cultivation technique. Cultivation techniques like the Formless Principle and Myriad Will Clear Jade cultivation techniques can all cultivate this divine ability. The Mao family was too ostentatious in heavens beyond. This time, they finally provoked a ruthless person. "Manager, didn't you just tell Ning Qing not to provoke the Mao family?" Lu Bai asked doubtfully. Shilin sneered. "Would someone like Ning Qing not provoke the Mao family because of my advice? I just wanted to sow good karma." Lu Bai was instantly shocked. "Manager, do you mean that Ning Qing can really exterminate the Mao family? Is Ning Qing at the perfected Dao integration realm?" Shilin pondered for a while before saying solemnly, "This is what I'm confused about. Ning Qing's Dao runes are slightly scattered, so he obviously hasn't reached Dao integration realm. Why is he so strong? However, even if he's a true primordial chaos expert, he can't be underestimated. Have you forgotten about the person in heavens beyond? How did the original Lu family of the heavens beyond perish?" Lu Bai shuddered when he heard this. Back then, that person had only been at the mid-stage primordial chaos, and had come to heavens beyond to do elixir and dharma treasure business. In the end, he had offended the Lu family, one of the 7 major forces in heavens beyond. The Lu family was ranked in the top 3 in heavens beyond. After the Lu family had destroyed that person's elixir dispensary, that person had directly uprooted the Lu family in the beyond of heaven and earth out of rage. When he fought with the Lu family's patriarch, they fought from heavens beyond to the endless void. The beyond of heaven and earth's endless planet protecting restrictions could not stop their battle. After several years, that person returned to the beyond of heaven and earth alone, and there was no news of the Lu family's patriarch. Because of this battle, this unparalleled position was established. However, only some of the higher-ups of the 7 great forces knew about this. The ordinary cultivators only saw a new pill house being destroyed and then rebuilt. That was all. After that, the Lu family's forces disappeared and became that person's territory. As a result, one of the 7 major forces in heavens beyond changed. The only reassuring thing was that he had no interest in the distribution of the various gatherings. He never participated in the distribution of the benefits, but nobody dared to touch the benefits in his hands. Later, the beyond of heaven and earth's 7 major forces became 6. Even so, nobody dared to doubt the strength of the 7th foreign force. Shilin said in a low voice, "That person's strength was definitely at the mid-stage primordial chaos at that time. The highest strength he had was only at the late-stage primordial chaos. This is what the Myriad Realm Auction's patriarch said. Therefore, strength does not only depend on one's cultivation level. You have to remember in the future that Ning Qing is very decisive. This Ning Qing was very decisive in his actions. He estimated that he was not inferior to that existence. If that's really the case, I'm afraid there will be one less force in heaven and earth's beyond." "Master, didn't you say that there's a huge difference between Dao integration and primordial chaos? Let alone a third-step expert? If the Lu family's patriarch was really a third-step expert back then, how could that primordial chaos sacred emperor do anything to him?" Lu Bai asked in confusion. "I don't know if there's a huge difference between primordial chaos and Dao integration, but the difference between a third-step expert and a second-step sacred emperor is more than that. It's the difference between quantity and quality. Once you cross the third step, you can easily crush all powers." Shilin shook his head. Although Lu Bai wanted to ask more questions, he did not dare to continue. It would not be good if he asked too much and made the master unhappy. Shi Lin took the initiative to say, once the quantity reaches a certain level, it is not necessarily worse than the quality. I remember that after that person destroyed the Lu family, the 6 major forces of heaven and earths beyond invited him as a guest. I was fortunate enough to attend that gathering. At that time, the Min family's patriarch asked that primordial chaos person what his chances of winning against a Dao integration expert were. In fact, the Min family's patriarch was implying that how could a primordial chaos person deal with the Lu family's patriarch? That person said something that I still remember vividly. What did he say? Lu Bai hurriedly asked. He said that in my opinion, there is no difference between most people's primordial chaos and Dao integration. The only difference is that they have reached a bottleneck when they cultivate to the primordial chaos realm. They have to rely on external forces or external objects to integrate their own strength to form condensed Dao runes. This is called Dao integration. That's all. Actually, that's all. It's really not worth mentioning. Once you encounter a true primordial chaos expert, this kind of Dao integration is a piece of cake. Shi Lin sounded a little lonely. It was obvious that he had reached Dao integration under such circumstances. Lu Bai was shocked and did not know what to do. He was now at the mid-stage primordial chaos, and was already considering how to reach Dao integration in the future. Shi Lin, who did not care about Lu Bai's shock, continued saying, the Min family's patriarch was very uncomfortable and even asked, according to what you said, the Dao integration realm is unnecessary? At that time, that person had said with a faint smile that it was not necessarily unnecessary. A true Dao integration expert does not rely on external forces, external objects, or any external factors to achieve Dao integration. Instead, he succeeds in Dao integration on his own. Everyone present has experienced the Dao integration realm. Which one of them succeeded in Dao integration on their own? Dao integration on my own? Lu Bai suddenly thought of the weakest kind of Dao integration. Shi Lin nodded. Yes, it's Dao integration on your own. In fact, I still do not understand what that person meant by Dao integration on my own. At that time, the Min family's patriarch laughed out loud. You said that Dao integration on your own was the weakest kind of Dao integration, right? Young man, you are indeed very strong, but don't be too arrogant. Be careful not to sprain your teeth. I did achieve tool integration, but didn't I still cross the second step? At that time, that person still smiled nonchalantly. You are the Min family's patriarch, right? You don't have to provoke me. I will naturally say what I want to say. If I don't want to say it, I will not say a word no matter how hard you try. At that time, the Min family's patriarch was very embarrassed. He had indeed said that on purpose to make that person speak clearly. He did not expect that person to see through it. That's impressive. Lu Bai did not know whether he was referring to the Min family's patriarch or that person. That's not all, Shi Lin said. Shi Lin said, that person didn't care about the Min family's patriarch. He just told the Min family's patriarch that your second step breakthrough was merely a figment of your imagination. In my opinion, your third step breakthrough is also extremely fake. You will only be able to stay at this level for the rest of your life. That person said that the Min family's patriarch's creation realm is fake. Lu Bai exclaimed in shock. If the Min family's patriarch's creation realm was fake, did that not mean that the creation realm of the other big families were fake as well? Shi Lin's tone became even deeper. That's right. What that person meant was that there are no true third-step experts in heavens beyond. All the third-step experts were fake. The old ancestor of the Min family was truly enraged this time. And he wasn't just trying to bait him. He stood up and said coldly, I know that you killed Lu Qianhe, so you are not afraid of an old man like me. However, there is no need to be so ruthless. There are many experts in this world. No matter how strong you are not the strongest. I, Min Husheng, have transcended 2 heavenly blights. I believe that the 3rd heavenly blight is not far away. What did that person say? Lu Bai had forgotten that he was facing the supervisor. Shi Lin also seemed to have forgotten that there was a huge difference in status between him and Lu Bai. That person chuckled and said, You are wrong. You did not transcend 2 heavenly blights, but 2 minor blights. Also, you do not have to worry about the 3rd heavenly blight, because you will never have the chance to transcend it again. The Min family's patriarch was instantly enraged when he heard that. That person continued to say, the real heavenly blight is not 5 blights, but 3 blights. The first blight is the true 3rd step blight, which is the creation blight. You are not qualified. The heavenly blight is not 5 blights, but 3 blights? How is that possible? Lu Bai exclaimed in shock once again. Shilin sighed and said, no one took that person's words to heart. Throughout history, the heavenly blight has always been 5 blights. When did it become 3 blights? However, I know that most people took that person's words to heart. As for whether the heavenly blight is 3 blights or 5 blights, I think we should talk about our own situation. To me, the heavenly blight is 5 blights. Big brother Ning, are we really going to make a move against the Mao family? After walking out of the Myriad Realm auction, Mu Yueping still could not believe that Ning Cheng could even stop a Dao integration expert. Ning Cheng grunted in acknowledgement and then said, we definitely have to make a move. Don't say that Brother Jiang was captured by the Mao family because of me. Even if it was not for me, based on my friendship with Brother Jiang, I have to interfere in this matter. Mu Yueping naturally wanted to rescue Jiang Man as soon as possible, but she also knew that this was no trivial matter. If anything happened to Ning Cheng, she would feel even more guilty and uneasy. Don't think too much about it. If anything happens to me, I'm afraid you will not be able to survive. I will not make a move now. Before I do it, I will investigate thoroughly. Ning Cheng could see through Mu Yueping's thoughts and took the initiative to comfort her. Mu Yueping immediately said, I don't care about my own life. Chapter 1208. When Ning Cheng and Mu Yueping arrived at the Heavens Beyond rest stop, they saw Chasing Bull quarreling with someone in the rest stop's lobby. Who do you think you are? My master is here, and will slap you to death. Do you know who my master is? How dare you act so arrogantly in front of this divine bull if you don't know? Chasing Bull's spittle flew everywhere, and the female cultivator in charge of the rest stop cursed at her, until she leaned against the wall. The old fogey sat proudly on the side and drank his spiritual tea while letting Chasing Bull throw its tantrum. What's going on? Ning Cheng walked into the rest stop and stared at Chasing Bull and asked. Chasing Bull saw Ning Cheng come back and quickly ran over. It bowed and said, Master, this rest stop is too unreasonable. There are obviously 2 special classrooms, but this woman refused to let us stay in them, saying that they are reserved for us. Master, this is clearly bullying and looking down on us. It means that we are not qualified to stay in the superior rooms. When Ning Cheng came over, the old fogey didn't dare to continue sitting there and drinking his spiritual tea. He quickly came over and called out with a simple and honest look, Senior, you're back. Senior, please calm down. Because these 2 special classrooms are not open to the public, our rest stop also has top-grade superior rooms, which are reserved for 5 auxiliary cultivation rooms, 1 main cultivation room, and an artifact crafting and alchemy room. In fact, it's not much different from the special classrooms. The female cultivator in charge of the rest stop felt so anxious that her face turned a little red. Ning Cheng's face sank, and he angrily shouted at the female cultivator. Does that mean what my companion beast said is true? Are you looking down on us? The difference between a special classroom and a superior room is a symbol of status. If you still want to look down on me, then don't blame me for being rude. Chasing Bull was already so unreasonable, and now that Chasing Bull's owner came, it became even more unreasonable. This made the female cultivator in charge of the reception not know what to do. Mu Yueping wanted to say a word, but she didn't dare to. She felt that it didn't matter what room she stayed in. She didn't necessarily want to stay in a special classroom. After Ning Cheng finished this sentence, his spiritual consciousness silently penetrated into every corner of the surroundings. Soon he caught a voice which came from Chasing Bull. See, I'm not wrong. This is a symbol of status. Your master said the same thing when he came, right? You've done a great service this time. Your master will definitely reward you. Ning Cheng sneered in his heart. Sure enough, He guessed that Chasing Bull must have been bewitched by someone. Otherwise, how could Chasing Bull know about the reserved special classrooms? This person definitely wanted to cause trouble for him, and the rest stop. His spiritual consciousness quickly followed the sound transmission and swept to a room on the second floor. The room number was D91. The room's restriction was opened, and a young woman, who looked somewhat beautiful, was inside. She was at the mid-stage primordial Tao realm. Just give us a superior room. I'm not used to living in a special grade room. Since he had already found the person who secretly bewitched Chasing Bull, Ningqing didn't continue to scare the female cultivator in charge of the rest stop. Master. Chasing Bull originally wanted to continue scolding the female cultivator, who received them, but it didn't expect Ningqing to suddenly change his mind and ask them to stay in an ordinary superior room, which caught it off guard. Ningqing slapped Chasing Bull's head and spoke, "You're not bad. Your temper seems to have gotten better recently. You wasted a day here just to wrangle with the room. If there's a next time, I will peel off your skin and throw you back." Chasing Bull jumped up in fright. For it, the greatest pleasure in life was to follow its master on the bustling streets and eat delicious food. Now that Ningqing said it, it almost scared its little heart to death. At this moment, how could it dare to ask for the reason? It quickly spoke up. "Master, please spare my life. I won't dare to do it again." The old fogey also felt surprised. He could feel Ningqing's dissatisfaction. Chasing Bull had been incited by someone and wanted to talk to the female cultivator in charge of the hotel. He had already seen it, but he didn't care about it. He also liked Chasing Bull's performance. Moreover, in his opinion, as long as Ningqing was here, no matter what happened, it didn't matter. Even if Chasing Bull and the rest stop started a fight, so what? With a great god like Ningqing around, could this rest stop jump into the sky? The female cultivator immediately sobered up from the surprise. It was just too unexpected. Listening to the tone of Chasing Bull's companion beast, she felt that Ningqing had an extraordinary background. As a receptionist in a small rest stop, how could she dare to offend such a big shot? Just when she didn't know what to do, Ningqing suddenly changed his mind and asked for an ordinary, top-class room. Okay. The female cultivator quickly spoke up. "I'll arrange a top-class room for you right away." The female cultivator hurriedly walked to the front desk and called out the available room numbers. But soon her face turned into panic again. She found that the top-class room had also disappeared. The Heavens Beyond rest stop had 2 entrances, both of which could be used to receive guests. The 2 empty top-class rooms she had found before must have been reserved by the other reception desk. "Honorable guest, I'm really sorry, but the 2 empty rooms on our side have already been reserved. We only have a middle-class room left." The female cultivator's legs trembled as she spoke. Apparently, Chasing Bull had scared her to death. She didn't know what kind of trouble it would cause if she said those words. To her surprise, Ningqing didn't get angry. Instead, he calmly asked, "Room D91, what grade of room is it?" The female cultivator didn't relax even a little because of Ningqing's attitude. She quickly replied, "Room D91 is a top-class room, but that room is now occupied." Ningqing nodded. "Help me arrange room D91. As for the people living in it, I'll coordinate with them." At this moment, the female cultivator didn't dare to speak. When Chasing Bull came to make a fuss, she had already reported to her superior deacon. She didn't know what was going on, but the deacon, who usually appeared quickly, hadn't come over today. In a place like a rest stop, one could meet all kinds of people. In case the other party got angry and killed her with a slap, even if the rest stop could help her get back at them, what use would it be to her? Seeing Ningqing walk up to the second floor, the old fogey and Chasing Bull quickly followed. The young woman in charge of room 91 froze for a moment when she saw Ningqing coming over. In any case, she didn't believe that someone could hear her voice transmission. Even if someone heard her voice transmission, she didn't think that they would be able to trace it back to her. Now that Ningqing walked over, she understood that this person must have sensed her voice transmission to that stupid bull. "There are no top-class rooms here. I just happened to see that your room is a top-class room. You should quickly check out and give up this room." Ning Cheng came up and spoke with an ice-cold tone. When Chasing Bull heard Ning Cheng's words, it immediately beamed with joy. Master truly was amazing. It actually dared to compete with a receptionist female cultivator. How powerful was Master? If he wanted a room, he could just say, "I want this room. Get out of my way." Only by living like this would life have meaning. The woman didn't expect such a thing to happen and froze for a moment. However, she quickly reacted and quickly bowed. This junior's cultivation is far from that of the several seniors. If the several seniors want this junior's room, then this junior will immediately step aside. The woman's voice trembled with fear. If one paid a little more attention, they would have heard that although her voice trembled with fear, it still contained a hint of Dao charm that could spread further. How awe-inspiring. You only know how to bully weak women. If I meet trash like you, I'll kill one. If I meet two, I'll kill a pair. A disdainful voice arrived, followed by two sharp imposing auras pressing down on Ning Cheng. Two young male cultivators came over. The two of them had Dao charm flowing around them, and their imposing auras were extremely sharp. At a glance, one could tell that they were holy emperors who had just reached Dao confirming Dao fusion. You're courting death. How dare you fart in front of my master? Chasing Bull jumped 3 feet high. Ning Cheng didn't pat Chasing Bull this time. This woman must have called these two over for a reason. If this woman didn't provoke Chasing Bull, it would have been fine. But since she provoked Chasing Bull, he had to figure out the reason. Elder brother Elder brother Quan, why are you here? The young woman came forward to greet them with a trembling voice. The young man walking in front glanced at the young woman and spoke with a cold tone. Don't think that we don't know that you deliberately called us over to block a disaster for you. Even if you didn't call us, we would have come over. In the future, don't use these little tricks here. Get lost. The young woman didn't dare to refute, and quickly lowered her head, and stood aside obediently. After the young man scolded the woman, his gaze fell on Ning Cheng. Anyone can come to my heavens beyond, but arrogant people can't. Get lost to where you came from. If you're late, don't blame your bad luck. Ning Cheng asked calmly, how should I address you? The young man snorted coldly. It doesn't matter if I tell you. I'm from the Min clan Min Quan. This is Mao Yi from the Mao clan. Mu Yueping carefully transmitted her voice behind Ning Cheng. Min Quan and Mao Yi are the most talented cultivators in heavens beyond, and are very famous here. Mao Yi is actually from the Mao clan. Oh, I've never heard of him. After Ning Cheng said this, he suddenly took a step forward and threw a punch. Crack. At the same time, a blood arrow spurted out. With a bam, Mao Yi was sent flying by Ning Cheng and landed in the hall on the first floor. He didn't get up for a long time. Although no one was there to watch, this was an inn, so there were people watching from every room. Ning Cheng had sent an early-stage primordial chaos sacred emperor flying with a punch, which was indeed shocking. The most shocking thing was not that Ning Cheng had sent an early-stage primordial chaos sacred emperor flying with a punch, but that he had sent the person flying. The person Ning Cheng had sent flying was not Min Quan, who had been despising him and asking him to get lost. Instead, it was Mao Yi, who had been standing behind Min Quan and hadn't said anything. What was going on? In terms of strength, the Mao clan was probably not weaker than the Min clan. Min Quan was also stunned. He hadn't expected Ning Cheng to be so powerful. Since he had sent Mao Yi flying with a punch, it meant that Min Quan could also send him flying with a punch. At this thought, his heart trembled and he subconsciously took a few steps back. Ning Cheng's gaze landed on Min Quan. You get lost too. If you're any slower, my next punch will be on you. Chapter 1209. Min Quan did not say anything. He did not even help Mao Yi up. Instead, he rushed out of the inn as fast as he could. The Mao family was strong, but no matter how strong they were, they had no way to save him now. Ning Cheng was so powerful and domineering. Obviously, he did not have the support of a big force behind him. It was because he was a stupid person. How could a stupid person cultivate to such a powerful strength? In other words, Ning Cheng had the support of a big force behind him. He had to report this to his superiors. Heavens Beyond had already formed a balance. At this time, he had to let the Mao family know about the invasion of any foreign force as soon as possible. After Min Quan left, Ningqing did not care about Mao Yi, who had been sent flying by him. Instead, he told the nervous primordial Dao woman, who was about to leave, "Come in with me. Otherwise you'll die now." The primordial Dao woman replied in a trembling voice, "Yes, senior. I will do as you bid." Ningcheng and the others entered the room. After Ningcheng reactivated the restriction at the door, there was a lot of discussion outside the inn. These people were either guessing where Ningcheng came from, or how the Mao family would teach him a lesson. The Mao family was one of the 6 major forces of Heavens Beyond. It was said that they had a Dao integration sacred emperor. No matter how strong this foreign cultivator was, he could not fight against the Mao family, right? Why did you provoke a fight between my pet beast and the inn? You only have one chance. If you dare to lie, you don't have to say it. After saying that, Ningcheng raised his hand. The galaxy sacred flame turned into a flame shield and enveloped the primordial Dao woman. The terrifying power of the sacred flame made the primordial Dao woman feel as if her life was evaporating at every moment. "Senior, I would never dare to lie. Please show mercy." The woman did not dare to hesitate at all. Such a terrifying flame was definitely not something that could be taken out just for show. She had a hunch that if she hesitated for even half a breath, the flame would turn her into flying ashes. Upon seeing that Ningcheng did not speak, but the temperature of the flame increased by a level, the primordial Dao woman was even more frightened. She hurriedly said, "Someone sent a voice transmission to me and gave me this ring. He said that as long as I did it, the ring would be mine. If I didn't, he would destroy me. I'm also at my wit's end. Senior, please have mercy. Give me the ring, and then record that person's voice for me." Ningcheng spoke in a cold voice. The woman quickly took out the ring, and took out a jade strip that recorded the voice, before handing it over to Ningcheng. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness swept into the ring, and found 10 million spirit crystals inside. In addition, there were also 3 primordial Dao fruits. When Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness swept into the jade strip, he found that the voice coming from the jade strip was very strange. Apparently, it was done deliberately. It was impossible to find the other party through sound alone. Reluctantly putting away the jade strip, Ningcheng left a trace of spiritual sense imprint on the 3 primordial Dao fruits, and the ring before returning the ring to the female cultivator. "What's your name?" "Junior Lu Huaner, Senior." After Lu Huaner said this, her body trembled. Being engulfed by the holy flame was no joke. "Okay, you can go now." Ningcheng finished and directly put away the celestial river flame. Lu Huaner never thought that Ningcheng would let her go so easily, and even gave her the ring. She quickly bowed and quickly stepped back out of the room. After Lu Huaner left, Ningcheng took out the Good Fortune Divine Spear from the ring. Previously, when he went to the Myriad World auction, he was afraid that something bad would happen, so he put away the Good Fortune Divine Spear. The Good Fortune Divine Spear had to be left outside to absorb the worldly killing power and law power. As such, the effect inside the ring was too poor. "Big Brother Ning, was that woman the one who provoked you?" Mu Yueping finally understood why Ningcheng forcibly occupied room 91. It turned out that there was such a thing. Ningcheng spoke up in a deep voice. "Yes, it seems that in addition to us dealing with the Mao clan, someone else wants to deal with me in the dark." The old man quickly spoke up. "Senior, which blind person came here to cause trouble?" "I, Jiang Zhong, will be at the forefront." Ningcheng ignored Jiang Zhong's statement and spoke with a cold expression. "Old man, if chasing bull is provoked by someone, and you still dare to make things bigger and watch the fun from the sidelines, then get the hell out of here." Yes, Senior. This junior will not dare to do it again." Senior is magnanimous. This junior was too arrogant." The old man quickly apologized. "Master." Chasing Bull also felt that something was wrong and wanted to speak. Ningcheng glared at Chasing Bull. "You have a bull's head, but your bull's head is filled with pig's offal." Ningcheng couldn't help but feel angry. He had to deal with the Mao clan now, and it was already a bit difficult. Since the Heavens Beyond rest stop could open such a large rest stop, it would be strange if it was simple. Offending the Heavens Beyond rest stop at this time would only bring trouble to himself. Yes, master is right. Chasing Bull didn't dare to refute. Big brother Ning, aren't we going to investigate the Mao clan? If we beat up that Mao Yi, I'm afraid that the Mao clan will come here soon. Mu Yueping looked worried. She was eager to go to the Mao clan to find Jiang Man. She also knew that the Mao clan was powerful. Ning Cheng spoke up calmly. It's almost impossible for us to investigate the Mao clan in the mysterious Yellow Heavens beyond. With the Mao clan's status in the mysterious Yellow Heavens beyond, how can we have a chance to investigate in a short time? The best way is to beat up the dog and let the owner come over. Let's take a look at their strength. Ning Cheng was afraid that the Mao clan might have a restriction array set up by a creation realm expert. If he couldn't leave in a hurry, he might end up harming more people. The best way was to wait for the Mao clan's people to come over. Given the intensity of his attack on Mao Yi, if the Mao clan sent someone over, it would definitely be a top-notch expert. Ning Cheng didn't say a word. Given the Mao clan's status, if he attacked Mao Yi, it would mean that both sides would have to fight to the death. In other words, since Mao Yi left the heavens beyond rest stop, there would be no room for negotiation. If he could kill an expert in the heavens beyond rest stop, it would only bring him benefits. Just as Ning Cheng finished this sentence, a gentle voice sounded outside the restriction. Mao clan's Mao Tai is here to meet this friend. Mu Yueping suddenly stood up. It was a completely subconscious action. Jiang Man was taken away by the Mao clan's people. Now that the Mao clan's people came, how could she not feel nervous? The restriction opened, and an extremely strong man came in. The man's hair was very short, and his strong body even covered the circulation of Dao runes. Ning Cheng could see that this person's cultivation level was at the mid-stage Dao integration realm. Behind Mao Tai was Mao Yi, who had been injured by Ning Cheng's punch. Mao Tai's spiritual consciousness and gaze also landed on Ning Cheng at the same time. When he saw that Ning Cheng was only at the primordial chaos realm, a disdainful sneer appeared in his eyes. Primordial chaos realm cultivators, be they early stage or late stage, were just ants in his eyes. Mao Yi had been living too comfortably all these years. The Mao clan had nurtured him like a treasure. All the good things had been thrown at him, yet he had cultivated such trash. He couldn't even beat a primordial chaos sacred emperor. Yet he still had to go back and talk about how terrifying he was. Did you injure my Mao family's Mao Yi? Mao Tai no longer spoke politely like he did outside the restriction. If he hadn't wanted to maintain the Mao clan's demeanor, he might have already made a move. Ning Cheng smiled faintly. That's right. I did teach him a lesson. Such a good-for-nothing should be beaten up. The Dao runes around Mao Tai suddenly became violent, and his tone turned cold. If my Mao family is good for nothing, it should be my Mao family who will teach them a lesson. It's not up to others to talk. Tell me, do you want me to take you away, or do you want to come with me? Uncle Tai, it's just a few ants. I can kill them with one punch. Even if my Mao family kills a few ants here, no one will say anything. Mao Yi, who was behind Mao Tai, said in a fierce tone. Mao Tai knew what Mao Yi meant. The Mao family had been taught a lesson in the heavens beyond rest in, so they naturally had to take it back. If they took them away, they would lose their prestige. Mao Tai's face sank. Before he could speak, he saw Ning Cheng step forward and throw a punch. This punch was actually aimed at Mao Yi. Mao Tai was furious. He hadn't expected a primordial chaos sacred emperor to dare be so arrogant. Daring to attack Mao Yi in front of him, Mu Tai, was simply courting death. The next moment, his aura crazily blasted towards Ning Cheng. At the same time, he also threw a punch. Boom! The Dao runes surged out, shattering all the restrictions in the room. Mao Tai felt a Dao rune aura more powerful than his punch blasting his domain. The violent Dao rune nomological power not only completely destroyed his hurried punch, but it also shocked him that he couldn't block part of the Dao rune power. Puff! Mao Yi was hit by the aftermath of this Dao rune power, and turned into a blood mist. Crack! No matter how powerful the restrictions of the heavens beyond rest in were, they couldn't block the impact of Ning Cheng's punch. The wall in front of room 91 turned into nothingness. This was the result of Ning Cheng and Mao Tai's forceful control. Otherwise, this punch would have directly turned the heavens beyond rest and into ruins. Mao Tai stood in the void in front of room D91, which had lost its restrictions and door. His eyes were filled with horror. If this was the strength of a primordial chaos expert, then the heavens beyond's Dao integration experts would be trash. Who the hell are you? At this point, Mao Tai couldn't care less about Mao Yi's life and death as he stared at Ning Cheng and asked. His tone sounded a little angry, but his heart was trembling. At the moment, only one thought lingered in his mind. The Mao family had gotten into big trouble. The Mao family's patriarch was not around. In the face of such a terrifying expert, he was sure that even if he joined forces with the family head, it would be difficult to force this person to stay. Even if he defeated the other party, the Mao family would suffer one day as long as this person did not leave the heavens beyond. Who I am isn't important. What's important is that you should ask me why I'm looking for the Mao family. Ning Cheng held the creation divine spear and took a few steps forward, blocking Mao Tai's way. Mao Tai had a good plan, but he would never give Mao Tai a chance to return to the Mao family. When Mao Tai heard Ning Cheng's words, he immediately sobered up. It turned out that this person was specifically looking for trouble with the Mao clan. He took a deep breath and secretly sent out a message, and then spoke in a slow voice. You are looking for the Mao clan. What is the matter? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.